And then it's going to flow like John Rothstein or something. We're cool.
John Rothstein
if you don't just start trying to like stealing
t-shirts.
Yeah,
that's all he does. He's a t-shirt salesman. That's what John Rothstein is at this point in time.
You think that's
he just sells t-shirts? I'm convinced that's all he does now, full time.
It doesn't seem like which outlet is he with?
I don't know.
CBS Sports, I believe.
Still?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I apologize. Some people's names you only hear once, like you get
We
closer
sleep
to March.
in May.
Was that what he said?
That's his thing.
Oh my God.
Look, everybody has their thing. He's got that. You've got you got that. It is what it is, man.
I didn't think that is going to be something I was going to end up becoming known for. Apparently, the morning
show. It's going to stick. They liked it as well.
That drop today.
Yeah, we played it about 15 times yesterday. I'm told they played it quite a bit as well. It'll be one of those. What I love about it is I can just play it randomly whenever I want. Like there's, other drops have to have a little. It has to make sense. I can't just randomly play a drop of Drew. Completely random. There has to at least be a reason for me to suddenly play something
behind it. Some sense behind it that it makes. Yeah, I gotcha.
But when I can't just randomly play Drew listing off spices,
garlic powder, onion powder, salt, black pepper.
I can't just do that. You're like, what are you talking about? We have to
talk about food or cooking or something else.
But I can just randomly. We could be mid-segment, and I just want to break up the monotony. And I can do that. That's why I like that drop. That's
I don't remember being that aggressive yesterday.
So, yeah.
But apparently.
You guys can interact with us on the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. Video stream up and running on Twitch, X, Facebook, YouTube, and, of course, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That way you don't miss not only this show, of course, but you don't miss Fesco and Dusty. You don't miss any of the drive if you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. All right, let's get started, though, today a little bit. And we know as the combine is going on, there's going to be names that move around, mock drafts, and there's going to be plenty of discussion about who ran a great 40 or who was disappointing in this drill and
who's got baby hands.
Whatever, right, yeah, all that kind of stuff. That's what the combine's all about. And Bink, I'm sure we'll talk a lot about that with you tomorrow when he's filling in Thursday and Friday. What if the Chiefs take a wide receiver at 9, okay? Whether it's Tate, Lemon, whoever. In the past, when they've taken a receiver late, there's been an understanding of okay, well, that guy's clearly the third receiver on the team. If you take a wide receiver at 9, though, especially if Rice were to miss any time, that guy's got to be, to me, in the running for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I think this might be, and genuinely, Gold, I think this might be the issue I'm having with taking wide receiver at 9. Because I'm with you. For what I want out of the Chiefs at pick number 9, if they take Carnell Tate, Lemon, forget the name for a minute. If they take a wide receiver at 9, I will not be okay with some Roma Dunze year, some Xavier Worthy rookie year, some McCole Hardman, some 650, 4 touchdown, we use them in a couple of gimmicky spot nonsense. If you're taking a wide receiver at number 9, he needs to be co-number 1 with Rashee Rice immediately. And if Rashee Rice is suspended, he needs to be number 1 all by himself immediately. Those are the only acceptable options if you take a wide receiver 9. No slow development nonsense the way they've handled wide receiver in the past. Immediate impact. And look, Rashee Rice's rookie season, he was an almost 900-yard guy. So I'm not asking, or he was an almost 1,000-yard guy, so he's over 900 yards. So we're not asking the world here. I'm just saying you have to be sure that they are an immediate option in the offense and that and honestly, the coaching staff is planning on using them that way no matter what they look like at camp or mini camp or anything like that. They got to be an immediate impact guy. And that's what scares me at 9. It really does. Well, how do you think they would use him? I guess that's the question. Do you think that they would actually operate that way?
If Rashee Rice is playing a full season and they draft a Carnell Tate, I think there's a chance that he gets just as many opportunities as Xavier Worthy. Or, look this way, he should. I think the Chiefs historically, but I think we've seen Andy Reid typically, and maybe it changes because of a 9th overall pick versus 28th. But with wide receivers, we hear so much about the complexity of the offense, and so he doesn't usually trust the young players until much later on in the season. That's a mistake. I think if you take somebody at 9, you better be able to have that wide receiver week 1 be a heavy part of the offense. That's why I said I think if you take one there, he should be in the running for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, I think there's a lot of truth in that, and I think that the thing is, and we've talked about this, legitimately be a conversation there. And I understand sometimes some guys come up short, right? I just mentioned Roma Dunze, but that was like that whole draft. The Xavier Worthy draft, everyone came up short. Marvin Harrison Jr. came up short. Everyone was less than the expectation. So I understand like things can happen, but the usage plan better be like, fine, maybe something happens. The usage plan better be, this is our number one wide receiver. This guy's going to get 100 targets. We're going to use him like we did Rice rookie year. We're going to try to use him like Marvin Harrison Jr.'s rookie year. Maybe it doesn't work out. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a slow development. Things happen. And look, I would say, I hope you don't miss on the pick the way that those have taken place up to this point. People can develop in year 3. It's not that. But your plan going into the season has got to be, no one's going to get more targets on this team than him, especially in a year where I think, Rice is likely to be suspended anyway, or at least it's going to loom as a possibility. My problem is, Gold, I'm describing a plan I don't think will be their plan. I think if they took Carnell Tate at 9, here's what their plan would be. We're going to give Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice, and let's just say Rice plays in this. We're going to give Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice more targets, and him and Worthy can split. They can have the same. And I'm like, what? Well, then don't take one at 9. Like, genuinely. If that's your plan, I don't want you even thinking wide receiver at 9. Your plan has got to be, they're definitely ahead of Xavier Worthy on the depth chart. They should be ahead of Travis Kelce in the target department, and he should be splitting the co-number 1 target share with Rashee Rice, at least by mid-year. You want to tell me your first 8-game plan is slightly different than your last 9-game plan? Fine, I'll hear you out. But by the end of the season, by the middle of the season, they should be like, Rashee Rice got 9 targets today, and so did rookie wide receiver we took at number 9. I fear they won't do it.
Yeah, because people are texting, so they're, hey, take the wide receiver out of it. Whoever you draft at 9 should be, that immediate starter regardless of position. I get that's why, when we discuss defensive end, that player is going to be in the rotation, if not clearly opposite George Karlaftis right away. I think the wide receiver, we just view it differently because you see wide receivers their rookie year quite often step in and be 900 to 1,000-yard guys at least.
Yes.
Defensive ends, other than James Pierce Jr., who has his own problems off the field, very serious stuff going on with him, he's the exception on the, 10.5 sack season for a rookie. So I think this goes back to like the fantasy football aspect and of what we expect from playmakers. And rookies, if you're Jeremiah Love, if you're Carnell Tate, if a tight end were to get drafted in the top 10, there's an expectation that you are a rookie of the year candidate. Yeah. If you get drafted as in like the best one at 9, he should be the best guy that isn't a quarterback. If they draft Caleb Downs at 9, like I agree that he needs to be a stud right away, but I don't think anybody's suggesting like he has to be first team All Pro the first year in the league. I just think we just view the counting stats differently. Wide receiver, it's easy for us to put a number to it. That's all. But yeah, anybody you draft at number 9 overall has to have an instant impact. No doubt about that. And it has to be a guy that ends up being a legitimate pillar for your franchise. But I do think if it's a wide receiver, that player, you should not slow play it, even if your offense is complicated.
Yeah.
It has to be somebody that can step in and immediately be one of the better young players in the league right away.
Like you said, I don't think that you and I are typically unreasonable on what to expect out of a rookie player depending on where they were taken. You just mentioned defensive end. If they take Reuben Bain or Bailey or Banks or whoever at number 9.
Yeah.
I think that, 4.5 sack season I'll live with. And I understand that they might be a 50% snap guy because that's not crazy for defensive linemen, especially in their rookie year. And they take time to build up to those massive sack totals. Look at how few defensive ends. One got more than 5.5 sacks last year, 6 sacks last year, and he might not play in the NFL this season based on some very serious legal trouble. And so, I understand wide receivers. Gold, every year there are 2 or 3 wide receivers who immediately are between 800 and 1,000 yards. Every single season at this point. I don't think it's crazy.
Who do you guys think out of the wide receivers, though, is most likely? I'm not talking about because there could also be a difference. You would acknowledge somebody could end up being the better long-term player, but maybe his rookie year isn't who's pro ready, I guess is the best way to describe it. Who is immediately ready in a Kansas City Chiefs offense out of the wide receivers to have that year 1 impact? Is it the same answer? Hey, whoever you think the best receiver is also the guy that has an impact. But there are players that, for whatever reason, they need another year of development. Yeah. And so long-term, they're the much better player. But year 1,
At 9, I'm not trying to take developmental players, but I get it.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like, there's some with quarterbacks, it happens all the time. Like, we mentioned, so-and-so may not be the best. The ceiling might not be the highest, but he's going to step in and not have any issues. It happens all the time.
So my number one wide receiver I'd be interested in at 9 is Mekhi Lemon. In fairness, though, to the answer to your question, I think the guy who might be most ready to immediately have a massive impact on the field is Tyson. I think if you just put him on an NFL field tomorrow and he's healthy and you just want to see a guy be good, day one, game one, no questions, it might be Tyson. He's the most complete, probably polished at the moment guy. Mekhi Lemon is the far higher upside guy who I think could also contribute immediately. It's not that. I'm just saying, if you made me week 1, who do you notice right away? I think it might be him. I think it might be Tyson.
Lemon is just it's all about, or Tyson, I'm sorry, is all about the injury stuff. That's the massive concern there.
Who do you think it is, Drew? You watch a lot more college than us.
I would say it's Jordan Tyson too. I think just because he can seemingly do everything. He's able to go up and get the football like you want out of a wide receiver that's his size, and then as we read the profile yesterday, he's able to break down in a route. He can get open himself. He seems like the guy. But as you mentioned, the ultimate thing from this week is forget the. I don't even know if the 40 time matters as much as it does the injury stuff. Just from.
Oh, it's all about your medical staff checking out the
health. If he is healthy, even if he runs like a 4.6 or a 4.5, I wouldn't be worried at all. I think that if he's healthy, then we've seen what he's been able to do when he's been fully healthy.
Yeah, and look, again, Lemon is the guy I'd take. If they just said, we're taking a wide receiver at 9, Cody, you get to choose. Lemon, please.
He's probably the one. If the injury is a concern, if they're we don't know about Tyson, it's hit or miss, then I think Lemon's the guy for sure.
And I know it's crazy because I have been bitching about short wide receivers for a very long time in this town, and I'm not any different than you and a lot of other people who are tired of 5'11" wideouts.
And that's where Jordan Tyson, who's 6'2", 200, we'll see what he measures out, I guess, out this week, but 6'2", 200,
He just moves like
I think Carnell Tate is good, but the problem that he has and why I'd be worried at 9 is because he's always had Jeremiah. He's had Jeremiah Smith. He's never been the guy. And when he's the guy, is he going to be able to have the same output that he has shown when he's had Jeremiah Smith next to him, or Jackson Smith and Jigba, or Marvin Harrison Jr. or these other guys? Not that Carnell Tate's bad. It's just that, is he a number one? Is he a true number one? I'm not so sure compared to the other two, maybe.
Yeah, Jordan Tyson, though, is not doing anything at the combine.
Nope.
So we're not,
sure, great.
He'll be a pro day guy.
And that makes complete sense, actually, given this stuff.
But that's the concern. Now, as I said, I think 2 days ago, I do think the Chiefs medical staff, to me at least, has earned the respect that they are correct recently on medical evaluation of draft prospects. It does not mean that guys don't ever get hurt in their career, but they nailed the Josh Simmons evaluation on the knee injury, and it led to them being able to draft him. Other teams were scared off on that. Now, I understand there were other things that happened. I'm just talking about for college players coming out of college to the draft, what ultimately is the injury concern for Tyson? A bunch of them. And does Rick Burkhalter and his staff, when they go through the medicals at the combine, even though he's not going through drills, but they're still going to do medicals, what's their feedback that they give you? Are they saying, man, now this guy you get red flag city, there's a big problem with his injury history, and to enough where the Chiefs think he can't be taken. If the Chiefs draft him at 9, it tells me the medical staff, of course, said, no, this is a guy that we can make work here. The problem with Tyson is it's not just a knee injury. It's, what is it? If we look at it, collarbone, and it's a knee, and it's a hamstring, and constantly hurt.
Are we at this point? Because I did not know that he was not performing at the combine. It makes sense given the injury history. Also, he doesn't want to hurt his stock at all. If he's healthy, then he's going to get picked high anyways. But hasn't this happened recently where we've seen, particularly at skill positions, the guys just don't do anything? I think we've seen that more over the last couple of years where the guys are just look, I'm considered to be drafted high. I'm not doing anything. I'm not working out at all for you guys. I'm not doing that. I think that's more of a common thing now than it has been 3 years ago.
It's better for the people who are trying to climb up a draft board.
Yeah, if you're day 2 or day 3.
Than the people who are already high up there. Same reason Ty Simpson's the only quarterback throwing.
Yeah.
And Drew Aller. Why do you think it is that they're throwing?
Ty
but
Simpson wants
no-
to make sure he's in the first round or prove that he's
Yeah, and that no other quarterback is. Well, Fernando Mendoza doesn't need to throw for anybody. Now, he gave the professional answer, which was, I'm just going to try to make sure that I'm with my guys in Indiana. Make them look good, too. Fine. But we know what it is. He's only got things to lose. If for some reason, and I don't think this would happen, but if for some reason he showed up at the combine and either hurt himself or just performed horribly, maybe something could change. It probably won't, but maybe it could. For Ty Simpson, those other guys, Drew Aller, they have a chance to climb
it's such a weak QB class. And after Mendoza, everybody thinks Simpson's the best, but it's just like, he's hanging on for dear life almost even to be in the first round. So there's an opportunity for some of the other quarterbacks to, whoever the third quarterback is taken might surprise people because it can be a bunch of guys that end up being the third quarterback off the board. But as it relates to the Chiefs, certainly I know tomorrow when Bink's in, I'm sure he'll talk to you about Jordan Tyson and his decision to not do anything here at the Combine. All right, let's pivot a little bit to college basketball before we get into some baseball and talk about Carlos Estevez at 10:30. Missouri Tigers, we said the opportunity was there. How many times over the last week? And twice of their last 3 chances to get a top 25 win, they've done it. Yep. They beat Vandy. I guess Tennessee's treated them well. They beat Vanderbilt with the coming out of Nashville, and then they took care of the Volunteers last night in Columbia to rack up another top 25 win. And I looked at Jerry Palm Bracketology. It still has them as one of the last 4 in. No matter what, it improved their resume. And the Missouri Tigers are in position, if they handle business against Oklahoma and Mississippi State going into that next Arkansas game, you would feel pretty good about their standing. The only way, to me, I think they'll go in the SEC tournament, though, and have no reason to be concerned about having to play in Dayton or anything, is if they would beat Arkansas as well. But they are on the right side of the bubble. But if you don't want to have to sweat at all, you still need to go beat Arkansas at the end of the season.
I think barring a catastrophic meltdown, they're a tournament team. And I think it's pretty clear.
But out of the first 4?
No.
See, you want to get out of that Dayton game.
I agree, but they had to focus on just being a tournament team first. That non-con, as we've mentioned multiple times in the show, was so weak. They had to get past that. And similar to the conversation you and I had with Kansas basketball, we were talking about the reason why they are a better basketball team is the development from White and the development from Tiller and some of these guys who showed up later. Barrett last night is the biggest beneficiary has gotten infinitely better from Missouri from November until today. And I'm not just saying that because he had a career night last night, because he just volume shot. 12 of 17 and 28 points last night. He was incredible. But it's not just that. He has gotten better, visibly better for this team. And that's why they're beating these regular ranked teams. They've beaten 2 out of 3 ranked teams. What more can you ask for? They just don't lose all of the next 3 games. They could lose 2 out of 3. And I still think they're a tournament team. Again, not off the Dayton bubble. They might just be stuck there. The non-con might trap them in purgatory there.
That's the killer for them.
The tournament, the tournament selection committee might just hold them in purgatory there simply based on the fact that they played a bunch of Missouri S&Ts for the entire non-con schedule. No one better than UMKC essentially for 8 straight games, and that's going to hold them. But the SEC is still a good basketball conference, and they have held their own. They've beaten the number 1 team in the SEC. They've beaten, half of maybe the top 8 in the standings of the SEC. They've held their own against a really good basketball conference. That's why they're a tournament team.
Yeah, that's why it looks like they're going to be an NCAA tournament team. And the reason why non-conference is the issue is because when you take a look and stack the teams that are last 4 in the other bubble teams, they have one of the worst non-conference resumes in all of college basketball from a team that is being considered to be a tournament team. So I think they get in, but I don't think they're out of the Dayton, Ohio scenario yet. And that's what you're trying to get out of. Because if you're telling me that they're a tournament team, but you think they're playing in Dayton, well, then they're on the fringe. That's one of the last 4 teams in by the way it works. So
then you're still at risk. So I just don't feel like they're that.
They need to handle against Oklahoma, Mississippi State, which they should. Don't slip up there. Be competitive against Arkansas, and you're in one SEC tournament win, and then you're not sweating on Selection Sunday. You beat Arkansas, then you're not even in Dayton, Ohio anymore.
Is Arkansas home or away?
They home, I think. Didn't they just play in Fayetteville, or
that was
the
one
reversed?
They just lost? I can't remember. No, that was the one they just lost. They just lost.
The one they lost was in Arkansas, wasn't it?
Yeah, so they should get him at home.
Yes, Columbia.
I do think it is interesting.
It is Saturday, March 7th.
As we continue to look down the line, it might come up again where I know we partially discussed this. St. Louis is doing great with shirts. Indiana State was 33-3, and they missed the tournament. If you're talking about resumes, St. Louis's resume is better than Miami of Ohio's, for instance. But if Miami of Ohio, let's say they drop a game before the season ends and then they don't win the MAC, then at that point, they'll be discussed as a bubble team with Missouri and with these other teams where if you're Missouri, you've got the better resume. So I think that that's something where, not that as a Missouri fan you're rooting on those mid-major schools to lose, but
no, sure you are.
But you don't want them winning the conference, though. It doesn't result really in a bid stolen. So if they win the tournament, it's fine. But you wouldn't mind if somebody else were to win the MAC and if Kent State were to win the MAC instead of Miami of Ohio, because then all of a sudden there's a discussion, and we know that obviously the SEC and Missouri's resume is better.
See, I think that's
even
backwards.
With the non-con bad.
I think that's backwards. You want Miami, Ohio, just go ahead and let them get their auto bid. They you don't want them being in consideration for an at-large. Absolutely not. I think it's backwards.
Yeah, but if you are in consideration for an at-large, you should still feel comfortable in my mind if you're Missouri.
But you don't want a bid
spot.
stealer at all. You just want Miami, Ohio. Just let them win. They'll be the only team that comes out of that conference if they win the conference. If they lose in the conference title game, there's a chance 2 teams coming out of that conference, and it can screw anybody over that's a bubble team.
I guess some of this is surprising to me because we keep talking about Jerry Palm and some of this bracketology. And again, I understand the biggest knock on them is the non-con. How is Missouri not a 8 or 9 seed? They are
because they're 60 in the net.
They're 6th in the SEC.
They're 3-5 against this year, though.
They're 3-5 against the AP top 25. They are they're going to have 20 plus wins. I understand the SEC is not as good, but we don't talk about Vanderbilt as being quite as on the edge. And a lot of these teams still behind are talked about as tournament teams. Auburn was ahead of them in the bracketology rankings yesterday.
Yeah.
They're 5 spots lower in the SEC. Here's this. I don't think you ever in the modern college landscape are going to finish 6 in the SEC and not make the NCAA tournament.
I agree.
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Especially now. I agree.
I don't care what your non-con schedule looks like. I don't care who you've beaten. I don't care who you've not beaten. If you were the 6th team in the standings, in the SEC basketball standings, you're a tournament team without question.
Yeah, but are you
argument?
Again? I don't disagree. Again, I'm not telling you Missouri's not a tournament team. I'm telling there's a difference between you saying they're a tournament team and are they in Dayton, Ohio. I'm saying if you're Missouri Tigers, do they have a resume to get them out of Dayton, Ohio? And I think they have work to do to ensure they don't end up there. And Jerry Palm doesn't mean just because doesn't mean that's what it's going to be. I mean, these guys are not 100% accurate by any means. Right now, he just has, and this is as of 9 o'clock this morning, he has Missouri as the first, does it make sense? The first of the last 4, meaning they're very close to getting out of Dayton, Ohio, in his opinion. But they have a 60 net. Santa Clara has a 40 net last 4 in. TCU in the Big 12 is 18-10. Has a net of 47, then Cal is 19-8. They have a net of 59.
Wait, did you say Santa Clara is included in the last 4 in?
Correct.
Okay.
Right now they are. I think according to Jerry Palm.
Yeah, because I think so with Santa Clara, I think they still have to play Gonzaga again before the season ends. If they beat Gonzaga, then all of a sudden they probably jump Missouri in regards to just not only net, but just maybe last 4 in if they can beat Gonzaga. I think
they lost by 8 to Gonzaga earlier.
Yes.
And then they play again coming up. I don't know if it's March. Let's see.
I think it's like the last game of the season, isn't it, for them? Maybe.
Probably.
I was watching that
second
game.
to last. They play. They don't play them again until the tournament.
Okay, so
they played them twice. They lost twice already.
Okay. Well, at that point, because I think in regards to the bubble conversation, obviously if you're Missouri, you just want to get in, and we've seen teams make runs from being included in the first 4. So I don't know if it's a bad thing necessarily that they're included in the bubble. You're just trying to get in at this point, which I do agree. I think that they're in.
All right, coming up next, guys, let's talk about the Royals closer, Carlos Estevez, who was sensational last year, a career high in saves, what Vern had to say with Fesco and Dusty, plus what J.J. Piccolo, the general manager, told us when we asked him if there was any concern with the slow start to spring and the velocity being down a little bit.
This is Wyatt Thompson, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Do you ever want to go to the NBA Finals? Well, now's your chance, courtesy of FanDuel. All you have to do is use your profit boost on an NBA future, and you'll be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. NBA Futures let you lock in your pick for who you think will go all the way, whether it's a team to win the championship or a conference title. The Lakers just lost to the Magic last night. Could they be in a play-in game? What does that do for the Western Conference odds? You can go on FanDuel right now and take a look at some odds in those particular markets. And then you visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. You play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA, and 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. No purchase necessary. Limit 1 entry for Profit Boost token. Opt-in required. Must apply Profit Boost token on select market. Restrictions apply. See full terms, including methods of entry, at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Xfinity Tech Support. Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Discover a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026.
When it was time to paint the inside of our home, we made one call, and that was the CertaPro painters, and the experience was amazing. They took all the stress about the job away from me, and they'll do the same for you. And now's the time to get that painting project completed that you've been putting off. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated right here in Kansas City. So schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro painters.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new brick you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-6623. 800-499-6623. 800-499-6623.
This is the Game of the Week report, brought to you by Hyundai. Pro basketball takes the court on Monday night with 3 big games. San Antonio will travel to take on Detroit, and out west, Sacramento will meet Memphis in what could be the most competitive contest of the night. And the evening wraps up with a Western Conference showdown as Utah faces Houston to close out the slate. The Game of the Week report is brought to you by the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. Learn how it's so much more than just another SUV at HyundaiUSA.com.
This isn't just how you get there, it's how you arrive. Whatever the day brings, make it epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. A sleek exterior, premium interior, and class-leading space for up to 8 with available third-row power seats that recline to give you room to live big. Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Oh, God. That was the sound of Jack Kagleon's home run yesterday.
Only made better by the guy going, oh, God.
Yeah, that's so good.
Oh, God.
His first spring training home run for of the season for one Jack Kagleon. Look, no matter what, nobody's ever argued. Nobody's ever going to say the power doesn't exist. Nobody's ever going to say he's not capable of doing that. That's not the issue. By the way, that went 460 feet. Just 460.
Like 115 miles an hour. It could have hurt somebody out there.
Crushed it.
It's hard because I refuse to let 45, 50 games, whatever the hell it was last year, deter me from thinking Jack Kagleon can still be a star. I understand the flaw in his game last year and how it got the better of him. I have also watched eventually great baseball players struggle in their first 40 games or struggle in some other 40 games. I'm going to hope that whatever small changes he made, whatever paying attention to the stuff he needs to avoid swinging at or to swing at matters, because, man, when he gets a hold of one, I don't know how you can't be excited about him as a player.
Yeah, someone said, did that happen last year also? Sure. Oh, I'm not suggesting just because he hit a 460-foot home run that everything is fixed. We're just saying that's why you still get excited about the player, because that power is always there. Can he put it all together? Yeah, that homer doesn't mean that everything is solved and he's good to go. But that's why you're excited still about the baseball player. That's why it's hard not to think that, hey, man, if he can just fine-tune some things here.
He can hit 40, 50 home runs in a Royals uniform.
Yeah.
Again,
and also, who doesn't just like absolute bombs off the bat?
Yeah, it's like cool dunks. I don't care. Listen to that guy one more time. He said, oh, God. Oh, gosh. Oh, God.
Oh, gosh. I think he said, oh, gosh. And then,
oh, gosh. That sound is like, it is assaulting. It's just like, and that always is the same thing. Very few, and I think Connor Griffin had a couple of these yesterday too.
Pirates top prospect.
Very few players in baseball hit a ball and it makes that sound. like it's just rare. That's all. I'm excited about him. I'm hoping Kags, he's not in the starting lineup, I don't think today, but that's spring training. People just take days off and, it's all schedule based or anything else in between. But yeah, why can't we be excited about Jack Kagleon again? How many games was it last year? Let me see.
60-something, right?
It wasn't enough to just write the guy off.
He got called up when we weren't there. We were there in St. Louis in May when he got called up.
We made the drive out.
May or June, whatever it was.
It was.
He played
62 games.
Yeah.
Boy, his minor league numbers. I'd like him to look like his minor league numbers, please. 330 average, 430 on base, over 1,000 slug.
Oh, him and Carter Jensen are two players where the ceiling is very high and they're big swing candidates, as we've discussed, for the 2026 Royals. If it comes together for both those guys, and we're talking about not just a divisional type of championship, but you're talking about them being one of the best teams in baseball. If that everything has to go right, though.
Yes.
Everything has to go right, but the potential is definitely there. I'm not predicting that they're going to be one of the top teams in the American League. I think they should absolutely compete in this division, even with the Tigers' rotation. I don't think the Tigers are going to be what prevents the Royals from sitting here in September and being right there at the top of the AL Central. It's going to be that Kags didn't figure it out. It's going to be that guys regressed, Michael regressed, or they had a key injury, or Cole Reagans couldn't get through this. It's going to be their own self-inflicted stuff, in my opinion, or they didn't do enough in the outfield in the offseason from a management perspective, a front office perspective. Someone was asking about Rookie of the Year odds and where Carter Jensen is. He has the fourth best odds, yeah. Reminder, Kagleon not eligible for Rookie of the Year. That was last year. He's played too many games and too many at-bats. Kazuma Yokomoto is the favorite. Yusavage for the Blue Jays, who we all got to see in the World Series.
Murikama,
and then Murikama for the A's, yeah. He's the guy. And then Carter Jensen, Kevin McGonigal of the Tigers is another name to watch.
Man, Trey Savage didn't pitch enough to qualify
he's eligible.
for Rookie of the Year.
He is eligible. He's got the second best odds.
I mean, he popped in the playoffs, so like that was the part that I guess stood out. I would have thought he was like Cags. I don't know why I felt like I watched him pitch a lot. It was because
it's weird in the division. It's actually kind of weird. Hopefully it doesn't pan out this way, but in their own division, some of the top rookie names. So Kevin McGonigal is a Detroit Tiger. Carter Jensen, of course, is a Kansas City Royal.
White Sox, right?
Yeah, did I say a? Sorry, he is a White. I think I said Oakland A's. You're right. So he's a White Sox. Bazana is a Guardian, assuming when he gets called up or whatever.
He was a chase card for
Walker.
wasn't he?
Yes, that's why I know some of these names.
Yeah.
Walker Jenkins, Minnesota Twin. So there's quite a few in their division that are in the top, let's call it 8 to 10 in Rookie of the Year markets. And of course, Rookie of the Year, they split it up by league, so I understand. If we did overall, Carter Jensen would not have the fourth best odds out of every single rookie.
He just doesn't
in the
American League.
In the NL, like you mentioned Connor Griffin for the Pirates. He's the number one overall prospect in all of baseball. He's got the best pure odds in general just to be a Rookie of the Year. And then some guy like the J.J. Weatherholt kid who I think we saw in
He was the
St. Louis.
Cardinals' top prospect and a top
when we were
10
in
prospect
Springfield, the famous Springfield trip.
Yeah.
He didn't play, though.
With zero problems.
Yeah, great trip.
Zero issues anywhere we went in Springfield. I did have a great time. I'm not going to.
Oh, the trip was phenomenal until we got back.
We got back, but I had plenty of fun when we were
Yeah, and then my phone was blowing up while we were on vacation at our old producer's wedding in Santa Cruz. That was not a fun stretch.
Hard to remember, even.
Yeah.
It's been so long ago. Let's talk about the Royals in a different way, because you had mentioned a concern Josh Verner had, and so we asked JJ Picollo about it yesterday. Carlos Estevez does not have good velocity this spring, therefore does not look particularly dominant, and is coming off a career year. So do we need to worry that it needs to be Ursek or Strom or somebody else in the back end of the bullpen?
This is what Vern first said with Fesco and Dusty about Carlos and how he's looking in the spring.
Worse or better afterward. Lugo, Waka, they've been doing it long enough. I could say the same for Carlos Estevez. The thing is with Carlos, like we saw last year in spring training, the velocity's not there at all for Carlos. But at this time last year, that's exactly what was happening. And he, as only he can, kind of laughs it off, and I'll be fine. This is normal. It takes me a while to really get it ramped up. Last year he had a back issue. Doesn't seem as if he's dealing with anything right now. But you saw the video of Vinny taking a bridge, and he waves at the ball. Carter Jensen did something similar, and Carlos was waving at the ball. Jack took him oppo, 400 and some odd feet. So he struggles with lefties. And look, if this guy's going to be the closer, I would imagine he needs to be well over 90, right, with that heater. And I don't know if it's there right now. So, we'll see. We'll see. He's got another week here, and if things don't start to turn around for Carlos, I don't know what role he would serve for.
Now, they brought in Matt Strom as well. And so when we heard those comments, I got a little concerned based off of the velocity.
Reasonably so.
We asked, now, you can certainly say, hey, the Royals are going to be optimistic about a player this early. There's no reason for them not to. But I will say JJ's answer, I think, at least calms you down for now. Now, if it's May and the velocity is still not there, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
But he even suggested that last year it took a couple weeks into the season before Carlos had the velocity. This is what Piccolo's response was about the concern, if there was any, around Carlos Estevez.
Yeah, he's historically been a low velocity guy in spring training. So last year was our first year with Carlos, and we're watching it, and we're getting a little uneasy. And finally, you have conversations with Carlos, and obviously the pitching coaches do every day. He's like, hey, don't worry. I'll be ready opening day. This is just how I get ready. So you don't see the higher velocities. And we probably saw, it wasn't until I think week 2 or 3 of the regular season where we really saw him come into his own. He's not a 98 to 100 mile an hour closer. He's not that type of guy. He relies on command. He relies on deception, but there is an expected velocity out of him. And historically speaking, he is a little bit of a slow starter. And I think some of his interest in participating in the WBC, it's the first time he's really been asked to do it from the get-go, is to try to get to that spot a little bit earlier.
So this feels like it's one, make note of it, file it away. Let's see the first week of the season, second week of the season.
But I'm gonna I'm not going to ignore it.
Yeah, and if it's 3 weeks into the season and the velocity still isn't there 2 weeks in, then it's far more concerning.
Some of it is the obvious thing, which is, sure, fine, this has been your entire career. Well, maybe it was easier to get your velocity ramped up when you were 28 years old. You're 33.
Yeah, he did it last year.
And he did it last year, but each passing year, man, a little bit harder to get the speed on the fastball for anybody on this planet, not just professional baseball players, for anybody. And so, look, this
you still got your fastball? You say it's tough for no?
I don't think I could. I think if you gave me 30 pitches out against the back wall here, I don't know, like touch 60. I don't know, like maybe 52.
They have options though. If in fact it turned out to be the disaster situation, worst case scenario stuff. Matt Strahm, Urseg, right? Those are the two guys you would think. Urseg, first of all, right? What you'd think would be the two closing options.
And they like his versatility and they like him as multi-inning, so it could be Strahm. They do have options, and I've talked about this. The bullpen is very deep. But I also just, going into the season, have a lower expectation for Carlos Estevez than what he did last year. I don't think he's going to lead baseball in saves. I don't think he's going to be as dominant as he was. I just need him to be consistent 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10. The problem with closers is that they are like running backs in the NFL. They are like corners in the NFL. Sometimes it goes quick, and all of a sudden they're just not as good the following year. It's very few Hoffmans and Riveras that just year in and year out do it no matter what. A lot of times relievers, it's like you get Joe Blanton, and he closes and gets 25 saves for you, and you trade his ass away when you're the Royals, and he can't get anybody out for the rest of the year, or he's awful the following year, or anything else in between. So, of course, it's a worry. I just think this goes back to kind of like the Noah Cameron thing. Short, be quick on the trigger. If it seems like the velocity is not up there, he's not getting outs, for the first few, it's okay to rotate some other guys in to get those 3 outs. Let's not feel the need to pitch him back-to-back nights just because it's 3-2 in the ninth. Maybe Urseg can do that one if you're worried about the velocity, because that was the thing the Royals missed out on forever. Velocity matters. Statistically proven.
It sounds like out of all the things that we've talked about here, like with Seth Lugo or Carlos Estevez or even Cole Riggins to an extent, we're asking are we concerned about this question for pitching more than anything else? So I wonder, is that where if the season goes wrong for the Royals, that's why Estevez doesn't have the velo that he used to have. Lugo isn't as consistent. Is that where the season goes wrong if you look in September and the Royals aren't in the playoffs at that point? Is that the reason?
Well, so I think they have to. That's a minimum that has to exist for them to be a divisional contender, is that the pitching is still a strength. I still think there's a real chance that we're here in September and we're saying, yep, they didn't do a good enough job again in the outfield. And they banked on, Lane Thomas bouncing back from injury, and let's say that didn't happen. Or Isaac Collins, what he was in August of last year, that's why he was a late call-up for the Brewers. He's not what you thought. Or, to me, the outfield is still, if you're asking me to guess why the Royals season doesn't end up the way we want it to as we sit on February, my guess is going to be that it would likely be they still didn't get enough out of the outfield. I hope that's not the case.
If they barely missed the playoffs, I agree with Gold. The problem is then the reason why we talk pitching is if for some reason that also fails them, well, they're going to stink. Their only pathway to stink is if the pitching staff is no good. They can't save themselves offensively. They can save themselves pitching-wise and fight for a playoff spot. They did that last year. They were one of the 5 worst offenses in baseball and still nearly made a playoff spot. If they don't pitch, too, this team might just be bad. I'm not, look, I think that this, Gold had said, everything's got to go right or everything's got to go wrong. The pitching staff, the one good thing about it is, a lot would have to go wrong. Lugo would have to be second half Lugo. Carlos Estevez would have to take a big drop off. Reagans would have to get hurt. Noah Cameron would have to, they'd all have to all be bad together, and they're deep there. It's less likely. To me, it's more about just trying to predict an individual's performance going into the year and how you might need to plan around the back end of the bullpen if Carlos Estevez isn't there. I think they can cover it with Estevez, which is the good news.
And we'll talk more spring training with Josh Verner, our Royals insider, coming up at 11 o'clock. Our spring training coverage on 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Park & Go, the best deal on airport parking. I'm using them tomorrow, by the way. Using them tomorrow as I head up to the airport. So we'll talk some Royals baseball in just a second. I do want to pivot to the NFL. The Combine's going on, and that means every GM is speaking out there for the most part. We heard from Brett Veach yesterday. The Minnesota Vikings are really fascinating as we get into the next couple weeks. Are they about to surprise us with a big move, or is this just the obvious, which is, hey, we didn't get good enough quarterback play? Because their executive vice president of football ops said just yesterday the Vikings are, quote, exploring all possibilities to improve their quarterback play in 2026. Now, on the surface, you're like, no kidding. Any team that didn't have
Chiefs might say that about their backup.
Sure, yeah. Or they just might say in general, we got to get better play out of this position.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
That in its own right is not news, but it is when J.J. McCarthy was the quarterback you chose instead of paying Sam Darnold, and J.J. McCarthy was a first-round pick 2 years ago, right? I guess at this point, 2.5 years ago, whatever. So his injury history, his bad performance, they absolutely have to explore all options. What does that look like, though? Is it bringing back Kirk Cousins for a year? Is it trying to see if the Cardinals are interested in trading Kyler Murray? Is that the guy you want to hitch your wagon to if you're Kevin O'Connell? Is it somebody, is a Mac Jones trade in play if the Niners are actually not willing to or willing to trade him away instead of holding on to him? What do you think this means? J.J. McCarthy, at bare minimum, is having a legit QB competition in training camp. At bare minimum, and that's best case scenario for him.
Yeah. I mean, look, a year ago, I'm wrong all the time on this show, to be clear.
We all are.
But a year ago at this time, I said, the Vikings don't like their quarterback. It was clear to me last year they did not like their quarterback. They essentially were in a marriage for like a year, and then they were like, would you be open to being in an open relationship? Because I don't really actually want you as the starter, and I'd like to explore some other possibilities here. They didn't like their quarterback last year. But I think what they got stuck in, and this is a really weird spot, they drafted him first overall, or not first overall, but they drafted him in the first round. Nobody had seen him play. And so bailing on a quarterback at that time would have been insane to people from the outside looking in to be like, wait. You drafted a guy in the first round, he never played for you, and you're already saying kick rocks? Nobody does that. Well, now everyone's seeing nobody blames you. You can cut ties. You can Josh Rosen his ass out of the franchise immediately. So yes, find somebody to replace him. And to be honest, they're not going to work that hard for it. There are a lot of available starting quarterbacks on the open market who are better than J.J. McCarthy, Kirk Cousins included.
Kirk Cousins just makes a lot of sense for a one-year stopgap. I mean,
the other name. Sometime we can draft another one.
Malik Willis. I mean, if you saw, he's in your division, so you saw him play. I mean, does Kevin O'Connell think there's something there for Malik Willis? If so, they might have a long-term option. If they're just wanting a stopgap, then Kirk Cousins is the answer.
Are they going? So do you think if let's say Ty Simpson throws and he throws well?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what pick the Vikings have. Is that all of a sudden entering the cards, or do you think that team, just based on what they've got defensively, which is an elite team, an elite coach, and Brian Flores coordinator, and then Justin Jefferson Addison, it feels like they need to get a Malik Willis, or if Tua's cut, they bring Tua in, or Kirk Cousins, or whatever.
They're picking 18th. They're picking 18th.
Okay, so that's lower than what I thought it was. More, I thought it might be more in the lower teens.
Their roster is too good now.
The Steelers
to not
19,
find a
right?
quarterback, or 21st.
Okay.
To not find maybe 19th. To not find a starting quarterback who can start for them now. So either a different first-round quarterback who's just immediately going to start over J.J. McCarthy, or a veteran who you're pretty sure you're going to start over J.J. McCarthy. He stinks. And look, maybe he'll find second life the way Sam Darnold did, or hell, Malik Willis.
Yeah.
Wasn't he a second-round pick from the Titans before they ran him out
So you're
for
saying
Cam
literally
Ward?
anybody else at this point?
He's awful, Drew. Awful.
Yeah, he's not good.
He had one quarter of good football play, and he's been terrible.
That's it.
In every other quarter.
It was a hell of a quarter. It was a hell of a quarter on prime time. I
think the all 32 after that game was he's the answer. I think is what I said, which is not true.
It would have been one of the times one of us was wrong.
The exact that was. It's really funny to look. That was the Sam. And now it's really funny because since Sam Darnold's won a Super Bowl, so that was the whole debate after.
One of your bigger whiffs.
We all have that. Yep. It's just funny to look back because we went back and forth because.
Is that what I said? Did I say I'd rather have J.J. McCarthy than Sam Darnold?
Yeah. So the exact take was you said with the locker room celebration, you were like, the team never rallied around Sam Darnold the way they did for McCarthy.
Man.
And you and I went back and forth, and we found a quote where the players were saying the same thing about Darnold. Then fast forward, Darnold wins the Super Bowl. So
he's probably a top 10
that one didn't age. Anyway,
look,
I don't think Ty Simpson. I would not draft Ty Simpson from the Vikings. I would rather just go the veteran route. I really would. I don't think Ty Simpson does you much good this year. I think they should just go Kirk Cousins unless Kevin O'Connell really likes Malik Willis. But I think Malik could end up
I think it's
going down to
Dolphins.
Miami.
Yeah, I think Kyler Murray's going to be in Cleveland. I think.
Oh, you think Kyler's out in Arizona?
Dude, their GM yesterday tried to, with a straight face, saying right now it's a competition between Deshaun Watson and Shadur Sanders. I mean, come on. Ain't nobody going to training camp with that quarterback situation, right? With a new head coach? No. No, you can't. You can't justify it. Do you think my cadence is better than J.J. McCarthy's? Is that part of his problem? Should he work on?
Oh man, that's. I don't know if I'd go there.
I mean, I'm not much worse a quarterback.
I genuinely want you to try. I want you to try it when Nate joins the show.
To repeat that?
No, just play it.
No. Play it for. Play it for Nate and see what Nate thinks, because Nate, is around the game plenty. He's at practice and all these other things. He hears the cadences.
You know what? Yeah, we'll get some football opinions on whether or not that's the right call. I just think that they have been saying this from the beginning, because go back. At least they had when they weren't starting him before, it made sense. Sam Darnold was playing great. They had 15 or 14 or whatever it was wins. They were on there, they were cruising along. There was no reason to play J.J. McCarthy. So it wasn't like should they? Because there was a conversation of, will J.J. McCarthy get in halfway through the year? Is Sam Darnold going to actually work out? He played so well.
McCarthy also was not healthy to begin. He was never going to start week 1 that year.
Yeah, but I thought maybe halfway through the year if things went south. Then they went into the year and they were and this is the problem they had with the front office and why their eventual guy got fired is they let Kirk Cousins go and he still had life left in the tank. Then they let the now Super Bowl champion Sam Darnold go because they took this and I think that this is just a thing that happens in sports and it's natural because it's human nature. I think they knew Sam Darnold was better. I think they knew some of the free agent options like Aaron Rodgers. I think they knew that their quarterback they had was no good. And what they couldn't get past was this notion of, can we tell everyone in the NFL that our first-round pick from 2 years ago, me, the GM, can I tell them that I'm just going to cut bait with the guy who took in the first round without ever taking a snap?
The cost control nature of it, too. They still believe, at that time, they still believed in J.J. McCarthy, and you have him on a rookie contract. We know the benefit that gives you as an organization versus paying the kind of money it's required. Yeah, in hindsight, clearly a mistake. Clearly a mistake by the Minnesota Vikings organization. Kevin O'Connell still found a way to win 8 or 9 games, though, this year with Brosner. And
that's why he's one of the best coaches in the NFL.
I can't even pronounce the quarterback's name. I don't even. I still to this day, is it Brosner? Brosmer? I don't even know. The guy sucked. Okay, and they found a way to still get to 9 wins with him and whoever else. Carson Wentz. That's right. Carson Wentz was playing with a busted shoulder in London or wherever they were playing.
And we all knew it was busted because he was dragging that thing around. I'm like, I don't think he's healthy. He's going to die out here. And they didn't want Brosmer or whatever to. Yeah. They found the only quarterback worse than J.J. McCarthy. Brosmer was real bad.
Yeah, it was terrible. He's one of those where if you're the backup, you play that poorly, unfortunately.
That's it for you.
Yeah, you want to be the backup. If you're not going to be a star, you want to be the backup that doesn't play for a couple of years, and then you just look good in practice and stuff. Yeah, and then you get one opportunity, and maybe you look serviceable. You could be in the league for 10 years as a backup. You do that. You look like crap as a backup for one time, you're done, because then there's no reason for them to keep you around.
Issue. They can't go into the season saying, if Oladokin played really well, maybe they go into the season and say, you know what? Guy knows the system, played all right. Maybe this works now. It'll be Marcus Mariota, whoever we're all predicting to be their backup.
I guess the Vikings could look at him, too. To me, there'd be about 4 or 5 other options as a starter for the Vikings before I would get to Marcus. Yeah. Geno Smith's out there, too. He was awful, but
I think he would win any of those competitions. I think he would lose any of those competitions, J.J. McCarthy, that is.
Up next, let's get back to the Royals. We mentioned we're heading out to surprise Arizona to talk with Josh Verner. We'll ask him more about Carlos Estevez. We'll talk to him about Isaac Collins, what he saw from him yesterday, and, of course, more on Jack Kagleon and Carter Jensen right here on 96.5 The Fan.
Watch Cody and Gold on YouTube by subscribing to the 96.5 YouTube channel. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Missouri, get ready. Circus Sports is giving you the chance to win owner Derek Stevens' wallet. From February 3rd to March 15th, you can take home your share of $250,000 in cash. Simply wager $100 and earn 1 share, wager $1,000 to earn 2 shares, wager $5,000 for a 3rd share. Bet on anything from pro sports to college, straight bets to futures. Don't miss your chance to cash in and take home your share of Derek's wallet. Visit circusports.com for details. Must be 21 and older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
Acton Health welcomes the KC Golf Show February 27th through March 1st at the OP Convention Center. Grab front door perks while they last. Get golf fit with Paws Studio and P-Volve. Saver buys with Pierpont's at Union Station and Booth Creek Wagyu. And hit Golf MD's new Club Zone at the Golf Show February 27th through March 1st at the OP Convention Center. Thanks to Mulligan's Country Club, Great Life Golf, Genesis of KC, Extreme Green, All Seasons Indoor Golf, Surfside, Imperial Golf, and Barry's Golf and Groove. Tickets at kansascitygolfshow.com.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. 'Cause Purdy told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. Always trust in Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health.
Furnished by IntelliBrands. Whether because of discomfort, lack of mobility, your lifestyle, or occupation, you sit inactively way too many hours a day. Get an Ellipse, the premium quality automatic seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation without physical strain or impact. Improve your flexibility and balance. Strengthen and tone your legs.
My joints feel better, my knees feel better, my back feels better, and it makes me feel stronger too.
My circulation is moving. I'm burning calories, and it makes me feel energetic.
It's so quiet that none of my coworkers even know I'm using it.
Call now and order Ellipse, the seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation. And for a limited time, get a free upgrade to our deluxe bundle with a faster motor, sport mat, and wireless remote. Call 800-555-1212. That's 800-555-1212. 800-555-1212 now. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Look out for Max Minute on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This is Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5, The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We'll get to the trash of the day in about 20 minutes or so. But let's head out to beautiful Surprise, Arizona. We check in with our Royals insider, Josh Verner. He's got his Hot Stove Show Thursday nights here on 96.5 The Fan. And, of course, before we know it, we'll be listening to Vern's On Deck show and postgame and the callers. I can't wait, Vern. We're getting closer little by little.
Yeah, I love coming on with you guys. Always talking baseball. Heard the conversation earlier about Jack Kagleon, Carlos Estevez. Even though it's not always good news, it's nice that we're talking Royals baseball.
Absolutely, and with Kagleon, look, I don't have to tell you that 460-foot home run, like that's what keeps people excited about what he can do in the future. What are you seeing though, just in terms of what he really has to fix, which is a pitch or two that major league teams last year saw that, hey, he chases this every single time, and we're going to keep throwing it to him.
Yeah, I think it was not yesterday, but his most recent game prior to that. He's rung up on a full count offering, strike three. He quickly taps the helmet, and it's overturned. So, that's a positive sign. But, of course, when a guy is as important to the win-loss record as we all believe Jack Kagleon, Carter Jensen are going to be, sure, you want him to bring some confidence from Arizona into opening day. But if you take an 0 for 4 with 4 punchies against Chris Sale on opening day, whatever happened in spring training, as you guys know, is going to fall by the wayside, and people are going to start to panic. The thing that gives me the most confidence, not only is the 460, the power that we all knew was present for Jack Kagleon, but when you can do everything that he did in a calendar year, from dominating AA to murdering AAA to learning a new position at the big league level, and do so without breaking mentally, without that body language being poor in a trying month of September like we saw last season. The young man has it together between the ears, and I just don't believe that this organization or the smart baseball men and women that we've talked to over the past year and a half, dating back to the draft, I just don't see how someone that talented, that coveted by all 30 big league teams coming out of Florida, to do that to the minor league ranks, to think that 60 some odd games of below average performance is going to, stunt my excitement. There's just too much there. Too many people have signed off. And to fast-track someone the way that the Royals did shows you their belief in them. And I think the talent is undeniable. Now, the strikeouts aren't going to dissipate completely this season. I said it a few weeks ago on the Hot Stove Show. If this guy can match, and this might even be asking a little bit too much, if you look at the numbers that Brian Reynolds put up last year with the Pittsburgh Pirates, a guy that I know some wanted at the deadline last year, he's not hitting better than 250, but he's running into 50 extra base hits. If you can get that for a full season of a newly minted 23-year-old, I'll sign off on that right now. Something right around league average. I would take that right now from Jack Kagleon. But as far as the adjustments made, we'll see. We'll see. Opening day, that's when it starts to count for real. We know the guy's talented. What do you do when the bullets start flying?
On the second base side, they paid $8 million to keep India, which surprised a lot of people. Massey, I read his article from Annie Rodgers, or maybe it was Jalen, talking about how he used physics, right, Annie? Used physics to change his approach. We see this stuff from baseball players a lot. Are they in a real timeshare? India told us that they're pretty much keeping him at second base. So Massey float around more, maybe some of those left field stuff, or those guys just lefty-righty split, and they're going to pay $8 million for a platoon player out of India.
Honestly, I hope the latter. I hope it turns into a platoon, because that means then Michael Massey's forced the team to find a spot for him. We're going to see him in left field during the season. We've already seen him in left field out here in spring training. You're right. Jonathan India is second base and second base only. Listen, you like the way that Massey approached the offseason, right? Why leave any stone unturned? But like I said before spring training started, to me there wasn't a player on this team that had more pressure when camp opened than Michael Massey. And I think he's always a stellar defensive second baseman. I think he's impressed defensively in left field. And, he's had good springs before. So this is another case of, I know you're good. I know you're a big leaguer, but what do you do again when the bullets start flying? And Jonathan India, we've seen him get hit by a pitch. He hasn't really done anything that's caught my eye offensively or defensively. Hopefully that changes. But, ideally, Kags is your everyday right fielder. Lane Thomas, Kyle Isbell split in center. You have Isaac Collins in left, maybe moonlighting with Michael Massey. But personally, my dream scenario is a platoon in center and a platoon at second base. And, yeah, $8 million to keep him. Part of that is also you got to save some face on that deal with Brady Singer. And it's not my money, so I'm not really all that concerned about how much they pay him.
We're talking to Josh Verner, our Royals insider here on 96.5 The Fan. You mentioned Isaac Collins. Yesterday was his first game because I guess they're just being really cautious with him with the procedure that he had at the end of last season. What do you expect from him? And you kind of mentioned the platoon there. So is he part of that, or is he going to be the opening day left fielder and get plenty of opportunities out there?
Yeah, I feel like the latter. Certainly with the trade, you're going to try and make that work. And I may have mentioned this to you guys in the past. You see that move, and Royals part with Angel Zerpa, who never really became that dominant reliever, or go back even years before that, the starter that some had hoped. And in return for Angel Zerpa, a guy that I think all Royals fans were more than okay with trading away. In return, you get Nick Mears and Isaac Collins. And at first, you're thinking, really, Angel Zerpa, what a couple of years of control of Angel Zerpa really garners you a reliever and an everyday left fielder, a guy that finished top 5 for the National League Rookie of the Year. It did, especially with how much respect I have for that organization in Milwaukee. You're like, what do they know that I don't about Isaac Collins or Nick Mears? So that's what gives me trepidation about anointing him as your everyday left fielder. But, you look at what he did last year in an on-base percentage of .350. That's what you're hoping for, whether it's at the top of the lineup or in the 7-8 spot. It's nice to have a switch hitter as well. But to me, outfield, whatever position you want to talk about, to me it just comes down to who's hitting. Those are the 3 guys that I'm starting today. Whether it's Izzy, it's Thomas, it's Kags, it's Massey, it's Collins, who's hitting the ball? Those are the 3 that we're going to run out there. We're going to ride the hot hand, ride the hot bat. Hopefully, look, Isaac Collins has the perfect mindset. He's coming in with a great attitude. Seems, very business, very very business focused. I'm a fan of his, but he hasn't really done anything that's caught my eye so far.
What about one guy I feel like whose name is getting a lot more attention this spring, Linder Avia? He pitched well for the Royals in a dozen games or whatever last year, but I think he got kind of missed in that because by then Royals fans were worried they were going to be a playoff team or they were focused on Kags turning around. One, is he a real contender for the rotation this year? Or because they love him out of the bullpen so much, will they delay him being a starter and risk it for the dominant bullpen stuff? What's the plan for
the second
Avila?
half? Yeah, I think if you're in it in the second half and your rotation is healthy, that's when he makes the transition to the bullpen. I think he has the ability to be, ceiling an 8th inning guy for this team in 2026. But as you know, you can never have enough starters in April, May, and June. So I think you keep them stretched out. And when you're, when the trade deadline passes and it's foot on the gas trying to attack this division championship or a wild card spot, that's when I think you see that move of Linder Avia to the bullpen. But this is a guy that, for as much as some are concerned about Carlos Estevez, many people say, well, then Lucas Erceg should be the guy. I really haven't been all that impressed with what I'm seeing from Erceg. Looks a lot more like the 2025 Lucas Erceg than the 2024. So I don't think it's as easy as, Carlos doesn't have it, put Lucas in that 9th inning role. Matt Strom, I don't think he fits. I know he likes that fireman role. He likes 6th, 7th, 8th inning, just as he's put it, sliding down that pole and throwing BBs. Linder Avia, to me, is the guy that would be next up. Although, even as I say that, I'm certainly not comfortable handing him the ball in the 9th inning of a one-run game right now. Hopefully, come August, September, he could be a guy to hand the ball to Carlos Estevez. So next year, I think he'll have a chance to grab one of those rotation spots, as Chris Bubich will likely depart in free agency. But for now, Avila starts as a starter and then I think could transition for a playoff run to the bullpen.
You mentioned Carlos. I know earlier in the week you talked to Fesco and Dusty about him. We asked JJ Piccolo about Carlos, and you even acknowledged earlier in the week when you were discussing the velocity that, hey, last year he was a slow start in terms of velocity. Do you get any sense that this is different? Because, JJ yesterday at least acknowledged that, the WBC, maybe it actually could help him. I know we talk about for some pitchers it hurts them, but maybe this gets him ramped up quicker.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe maybe Albert Pujols says, hey, Carlos, how about you just keep the boys loose out of the bullpen?
You're throwing 89. We're not going to be throwing you in a high leverage spot tonight.
Yeah.
The only thing that would concern me is there isn't any injury at least none that's been verbalized yet. I know Q's speaking with the media right now. Maybe that's changing as I speak. But last year there was at least a back. There was something that was gnawing at him. That doesn't seem to be the case this year. But watching Carlos in that inning, he's smiling, he's joking. After the second out, Nick Lofton thought there were 3 outs, and Carlos is laughing and making fun of him and pointing to Carter Jensen going, what's this dude at first base doing? The first fly ball out, the first out that he recorded after the home run to De La Cruz and Eugenio Suarez, the first out that he recorded was a fly ball to the warning track. But off the bat, he knew it was an out, and he gave a sarcastic fist pump. There's just nothing about the body language, the demeanor of Carlos Estevez that leads me to believe that he's concerned one iota. So that's, along with the organization, trusting him and trusting the lines of communication that he'll continue to be honest moving forward. Now, Q even said it after the game yesterday. If it's Lucas Erceg out there throwing, topping out at 89 miles per hour, we're in a panic. But because of what we went through last year, we're not in a panic. But you can see, you could read in between the lines. They all want to tag it with yet, right? We're not concerned yet. He went through this last year, so we're going to rely on that for now. So for now, no panic.
Vern, this is only for selfish show reason before we let you get out of here. If Gold and I end up doing another road trip this year, let's say to Omaha, AAA, AA, single A, who's the guy do you think we should be targeting?
David Shields and Kendrys Churio.
Where's he going to be? I saw him 17 yesterday pumping 97 miles an hour. And he's 18 or 19 in Shields. I've been high on him for now, I guess, a full year. Where are those guys going to pitch this year?
I would think Quad Cities. They've already taken care of low A. So, I think they get that bump up to double A. And those are, along with Blake Mitchell, I think Quad Cities. I've never been to that ballpark. It looks awesome. I think that could be a perfect trip for you guys.
5 hours up, a slightly longer drive.
Not for a baseball game. I randomly have been to Dubuque in the Quad Cities or whatever. Random.
You've been everywhere. You're like Johnny Cash.
All I know is we'll make sure we get everything in order. If we go up there, we don't want to have any issues.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, me either.
You guys do a great job of that stuff.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's
Vern
exactly right. Vern,
just show up, set up, and do the show. Everybody's cool with it.
Thank you, Vern.
Get off the phone line.
That's Josh Verner, our Royals insider. He, of course, has his Hot Stove Show tomorrow night here on 96.5 The Fan. He joins us each and every Wednesday on Cody and Gold. Yeah, Quad Cities, dude, the most random reason to be there. This was in, I was maybe 20-something years old. And my twin sister, you guys know I have 2 sisters. My twin sister back in the day, she did ballet. So she ended up living in Vegas, but at the time she was looking at a ballet company, and I think she had an audition with, Quad City Ballet or whatever it was. I don't know. And so I drove her all the way up to Iowa and back in the same day for the audition. So while she was auditioning, I was just at a random bar in Quad Cities, Iowa, or the Quad Cities, I should say, near Iowa. And I saw the ballpark, but I don't know if the Royals were even an affiliate at the time. Remember they switched? I don't know if that was even a Royals affiliate back then.
Would you guys drive up there?
That's a longer drive.
I will say,
man.
we'd have to be sure one of them was starting. But either Churio or Shields.
It's in Dubuque, Iowa, you said?
That's tough to...
It's like 5.5 hours.
Yeah, well, I drove through there when I drove it to Madison.
Okay.
I drove
That's just a tough one. That's just a tough one to plan because of the pitching. You and I are both very high on David Shields. So I don't know. Well, we can talk it out.
Churio's growing on the list, too. They've got some young starting pitching that is, like, good.
Yeah.
Like David Pricean, like, could be up at 20 starting major league games. It's also why they probably don't mind riding out a year of Bubic, and they understand that, like, with Waka and Lugo only having, like, a couple of years left, they're probably not in a panic. They have a lot, and hell, even the guy I mentioned in this, Linder Avia, he is easily, of the guys I talked to who are down there covering the team, not just covering the team, but the people who, like, work for the team and stuff like that, they're very high on Avila. They talk about it like he's actually competing for the 5th starting spot with Noah Cameron at the moment. Now, I don't think that's actually the case. I think Cameron's going to have every single conceivable leg up in that opportunity. But I wouldn't be surprised if Avila was call number 1, if Waka had to miss 2 starts, if Lugo had to miss 2 starts, he might very well be at the top.
By the way, Davenport, Iowa is where the actual stadium is. Quads. One of the quads, Davenport.
They're all just kind of mixed up there.
Double check Davenport's drive time, please.
Oh, man. And Vern gave us a nugget that I didn't realize earlier. We were talking about Jack Kagleon, this home run.
Mm-hmm. The one that's not playing right now. That one.
It's going to fight you. Can I hear it, please?
Oh, gosh.
That oh, gosh is Mike Sweeney. And he had some prodigious power himself during some time here in Kansas City. I didn't realize that was Mike Sweeney. That's funny.
So it says AA Northwest Arkansas. Yes, AA is Northwest Arkansas.
He said AA, but he said A-ball first.
Yeah,
and then
AA is Northwest Arkansas, Springdale or whatever Arkansas. But Quad Cities is Davenport area, but we said Dubuque. It's okay.
I think both Churio and Shields will start in A-ball, so we'd have to go down there to see them soon. But it's not out of the question that either of them could find their way into AA, even though Churio is 17 or 18 years old, and Shields is no older than 18 or 19.
Yeah, I just think we wait till they get to AA. I think I don't think you're going to get as many people willing to drive that far all the way up to the Quad Cities.
Tough.
The sell on Omaha and Springfield and in Springdale, Arkansas, is that you can do it. Some people were able to drive there and back, you know?
Yeah. Some people did the trip and then drove back. You're right. They didn't stay overnight.
That was what I did in Springfield.
Yeah, that's right. You didn't stay. You didn't stay out. We had a good time later.
I told him he could stay.
Cody,
I offered him the hotel room.
Cody sang karaoke at 2:00 in the morning and offended everybody and got us kicked out.
No, Dusty was the one who almost got kicked out of the bar.
That's right. It was Dusty.
Look, I did the other parts of that story.
Dusty almost got us kicked out because Dusty was applauding. He was booing people singing karaoke at a karaoke bar, which is a no-no. That's right. It was Dusty. Sorry, it was not you. We did play audio of that at the time.
I gotta say, anytime we mess up one little thing on this show, everyone's a geography bee expert.
Look, I get it.
I'm glad you won your 4th grade geography bee. Everybody knows where Dubuque was.
I get it.
I don't know well enough to say it. I just know
all I know is I've been to the Quad Cities, whether it was Davenport or Dubuque. I've been to the damn Quad Cities. All right, I've been there before for the most random reason possible. And now someone on the text line's bumming me out. Because you guys know the news about this and the conversation we had earlier in the week about USA Hockey and the gold medal. Very exciting, and I'm going to Montreal tomorrow. Someone said, Gold, did you get your USA Hockey jersey or hoodie?
No.
Well, got a shipping update today. We all know there was the terrible weather out east. I paid extra for express shipping on Sunday. It was supposed to be here today because of the weather, and I get it. It's not showing up till tomorrow. The problem is, when it shows up, I already will be in Canada. So, no, I'm not chickening out. But if somebody has a USA Hockey hoodie, I could use it. Because otherwise, I'm going to go in there. I'm going there empty-handed. I'm going there not rocking any USA Hockey gear after all this. I'm bummed out. And I'm returning that damn thing right away. Or at least getting my shipping money back.
Now you don't support?
Well, I would wear the hoodie again, but I mainly bought it for this reason, to wear it there at the Montreal Canadiens game. So, yeah, I'm bummed out. Bad shipping update today.
So if somebody's got a USA jersey that Gold can borrow.
Size large, please.
Size large for his trip to Montreal. Hit him up at 913-586-7965. Before we get to the trash today, I'll tell you one more thing that was we always tell you watch on the chats, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, I follow the chats on Twitch and YouTube and try to interact with you. Someone on YouTube did say we got to be careful saying Quad Cities so many times. They said I don't like you saying cities too much.
I do have to be careful.
You can't say cities that many times in a row.
I do appreciate you guys.
Any kind of issues, you know.
The issue is when I try to combine the Tennessee cities.
Yeah,
you know,
not quad.
The C is more problematic than the just saying quad. You know, it's a little bit different when you do that. You know.
Somebody says, "Why not ship it to your hotel room?" He's going to the hockey game Thursday night.
Yeah, and already
so you couldn't even
I couldn't
get it and then ship it to you. If you're going on Saturday, I could technically pick up the hoodie and send it to you, and you might be able to get it by Saturday. But you're going to the game on Thursday.
That's Tennessee cities.
I like how hard you're trying to really make sure you got it. Cities.
Someone says they have one, but it's an XL. I just think the XL is not going to work for me.
I think hockey jerseys is a jersey that you can get away with.
I'd be swimming in that thing, though. I feel like.
We'll see.
Let's get to the trash.
Trash of the day.
All right, we go to St. Louis, unfortunately, for this one.
Yeah, they're trash. Makes sense.
You and I were in St. Louis to see Kag's debut.
I don't actually really enjoy the city. I don't just pick on them because of a Kansas City St. Louis thing. I've been to St. Louis probably a dozen times. I don't think I've ever had a good time there.
All right. So there's a major problem downtown there where there's over 40,000 illegally parked vehicles in St. Louis that are eligible to have parking booths placed on them, but the city only owns 30 of the booths. So there's no way
So they can only boot so many people.
In addition, citywide issue with manpower and all this, but there's one vehicle. Each day an attendant walks up, places a ticket on a vehicle, and those tickets have accumulated now a total of over $8,600 in parking tickets. Still, nobody has towed it, and that's because the city won't tow cars that don't have a boot on it. So they know there's this car that's got over $8,500 worth of tickets, parking tickets.
They're not going to do anything about
but they aren't towing it because it doesn't have a parking boot on it, and they don't have enough parking boots to compensate.
I guess here's how. I'm not, and look, maybe I'm a rule follower in the worst conceivable way. I mean this like literally. I never park illegally. If it says no parking 8 to 5, I find another spot. It says no parking beyond this line. It says private parking for this. I do not park there for not even 4 seconds. Get off the road! I don't even park in the spots that'd say things like for for expecting mothers at the grocery store. It's not a legally binding thing. I don't park in that either. I obey all parking rules. How do you get $8,500 worth of parking tickets? Do they add up?
Well, the person just abandoned abandoned their car. Who knows? I mean, have we checked to make sure the owner of the vehicle's alive?
Can they just start towing them?
Well, no, they don't tow vehicles unless it's got the boot. Unless it's got the parking boot,
they won't tow it. The boot, they won't tow it?
That's their.
I gotta say, you gotta probably work on something in your parking and your city budget. If you think you can maybe collect some of this, maybe buy a couple. How do you only have 30 boots? How is that the number? Why don't you buy some of those windshield ones or whatever? I don't know. Haven't you seen those?
Yeah.
I think people have figured out how to take some of those boots off. So maybe like the windshield ones. Have you? I've never in my life gotten a parking ticket. I got my car towed once. I was parked downtown in a shared lot, a shared rectangle. And apparently one half of that same lot that are connected and right next to each other was for a different business. I believe it was a strip club, like a gentleman's club. And the left side was for a restaurant. I was going to the restaurant.
Sure you were.
They watched the camera, saw me not go into the strip club, and then towed my car.
So see, this is where, this whole time you had never gone to a strip club, could have saved you a parking ticket if you would have gone.
Honestly, the $250 could have at least gone to something. Or whatever the the tow was.
So yeah, would you rather
it's not cheap.
Paid the $250 for that, or, it could have.
There's a greater chance that it does result in some pleasure.
It could have.
Pay for that pleasure?
You could have done that instead.
I never. Do you park illegally ever? Do you ever park
illegally? Have I ever parked legally? Yeah. Have I got a parking ticket in my life? No, I actually haven't.
When I was at
KU, I did not have a car yet. So when I was a student at KU, I did not have my own car.
I was like, Lawrence is known for everybody illegally parks all the time.
I didn't have a car on campus. So, but yes, the parking is a mess at the University of Kansas. At least it was then. I'm guessing it still is.
Drew, you ever got a parking ticket?
Yes. There was some confusion when I was in college.
Confusion.
So the place that
where your
my
tag
spot,
was good?
Yeah, so my spot, we were able to park in the Hinkle Fieldhouse parking lot, but I had missed an email that they were doing some sort of event there during the offseason, but they needed everybody's car to get cleared out, otherwise you'd be towed. I had spaced it. I woke up. It was only like 9 in the morning. My car was already gone. So I got a parking ticket for that reason.
I will say, I feel like even at UMKC, they make it intentionally challenging where it's like, as you know, like this zone for that zone, this. I'm like, how many little signs I got to pay attention to just to like park right? I don't pay for a parking pass there. I just meter it.
University parking, I think, is kind of just, I'm sure it's everywhere, is probably notorious for there never being as many enough spots. There's always a lack of parking.
We come back. I took my, I know we got to take a break. I took my class on a tour of the station yesterday. When we come back,
who was here?
Yeah, it was here. We walked around the
so
station.
Who was here? What time of the day?
Oh, it was afternoon. The class is at 4.
Oh, okay.
So I brought them in studio to show them like the working space for, you know, music versus talk. And when we come back, I'll tell you right now, Carrington was maybe the least helpful person to students ever.
Dang.
All right, let's find out what happens. I'm intrigued. That's a tease. Plus, we'll get to the She Shred half hour and some thoughts on both the Broncos and the Chargers next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
This is Kevin Harlan, and if I sound a little tired, it's because it's Ford Truck Month at Rob's Side Ford.
You and me both, Kevin. It's been non-stop.
Well, Rob, remind me again why.
Because Rob's Site Ford is offering brand new F-150s up to $16,000 off, 0% financing for 60 months, and 0 payments for 90 days.
Yes, that'll do it.
And it's not just the F-150s. We've got the best deals of the year on Super Duty, Ranger, and Maverick.
Okay, so let me get this straight, Rob. Massive savings, strong financing, no payments for 3 months, and people are showing up?
It's nonstop.
Funny how that works.
Turns out, when you've got the inventory, the price, and the experience, people notice.
Especially when you're Kansas City's #1 top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars and over 3,000 reviews.
And Kansas City's top volume F-150 dealer.
No wonder you're tired. It's Ford Truck Month at Rob's Side Ford, 135th and State Line, or robsite.com.
My friends at Smokehouse Barbecue have 2 new items that you need to try. First, meet the Pickle Jack Sandwich. We're taking tender smoked ham and melted pepper jack cheese, piled high with our signature pickle fries. It's crunchy, spicy, and smoky as well. And if you need to warm up, how about some Smokehouse chili? It's not your average recipe. It's loaded with our famous chopped burnt ends and savory sausage. And don't forget carryout, which you can order at smokehousebbq.com. Visit Smokehouse Barbecue in Independence, Zona Rosa, and Gladstone. It's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM using bonus code DUSTY and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Get into hockey, basketball, and more of your favorite sports with same-game parlays. That's what I do. I love it a lot. Live betting and more. Earn BetMGM reward points on every single bet. Take advantage of offers found nowhere else, and keep an eye out for your rewards dropping in your account throughout the year. So again, sign up with bonus code DUSTY and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM, make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsible. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour here on Cody and Gold. In 1 hour from now, we head out to Indianapolis. Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from ESPN, going to join us. We'll ask him what he's made of some of the comments, not just with the Chiefs and Brett Veach yesterday, but just the vibe right now at the Combine and ultimately what is he hearing out there. So that's coming up 1 hour from now. Looking forward to that. You guys can continue to interact with us on the J. Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. Video stream up and running on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and X. And just another way for you guys to participate in the show. Appreciate that as always. Real quick before we get into the Chiefs. AFC West a little bit and the Broncos and the Chargers, and including Sean Payton giving up play calling for the first time in like his career, I think, or at least in only maybe one other time, which is interesting. It got us thinking about Andy Reid a little bit too. But you mentioned before the break, and you said, we all know you teach at UMKC, and you said you were up here yesterday because you were going on a tour of the studio for your students. Okay, makes sense. And I said when? You said 4 o'clock, which means Carrington was on the air. And then you just proceeded to lay out a tease while also trashing Carrington without even telling the story.
So
I got to find out what the hell happened.
So I understand it is my job to show them around, keep them entertained. It is not everyone else's job to show them everything, right? I get that. But they're in break. I want to show them the working space. I've done this with a class before. So I'm not like throwing them off. It's not throwing them off guard. So I pop in, say this is Carrington. He immediately starts to essentially just tell them not to listen to me. And then I said, hey, before we get out of here, do you have any advice for people who are trying to get in this industry or like the podcast industry? And he sits there for a second. He says, advice? I don't have any advice. And then his one phrase he utters before we all leave is, and he will not offer anything else, is be all you can be. Like, I don't know, in the Army, I guess? He just tell him to quit and join the armed services? That was his one sentence. Be all you can be.
That was his advice.
And then laughed, and I said, is that your serious piece of advice? And he said, yes, that's all I have. Be all you can be.
He really didn't want to help you out.
Worthless.
He didn't want to help you out. He might as well
just say, like, Be genuine. Be yourself. Work hard. You could give it just generic. And he said, be all you can be. Just stole the Army's slogan.
He might as well have just done with the motivational poster that every PE class had in elementary school. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah,
he could have
might
just
as well have been that.
He could have
Hang
just
in there,
done
the
that
cat poster.
Yeah, he could have just done that. What this tells me, he didn't want anything to do with your class. He did not want to offer any real advice. He wanted you to get the hell out of his space. He wanted to do his radio show.
He's just coming off vacation. He had, he was in New Orleans for 5 days, 4 days, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He can't even just say get him next time, kid. Just be all you can be. He's ripping off someone else's slogan. Yeah, he might as well have just said, yeah.
What did your
100%
students
of the
say?
shots you don't take. They all just laughed because it was bad advice.
Text line says you're also talking about a guy who wanted to charge his neighbor for toilet paper. Remember? So.
Yeah, I do remember that, which is insane.
Yeah.
Insane. I couldn't believe it, man. Parks gave him like a whole...
I believe it.
Parks gave him like a whole speech.
Yeah.
He was talking about when he got in this industry and when he first started and when he first started the show with Dana and told them that they had to be patient in their career. And sometimes it feels like Parks gave him like a whole rundown of like the pros and the cons and the good and the bad and to do it for you. He was like we are Marshall. He was like standing up in front of the crowd in a pulpit. And all Carrington had was a 90s Army slogan. Be all you can be.
Yeah.
I've heard it's come back, I guess. But
I think it started in the 80s.
Yeah, it's the one from my childhood, essentially. That's all he had. He said he'd have been better off saying, that'll do, pig. Just offer whatever generic advice. No help.
He wasn't interested. It is what it is,
He said, you do this every semester? I'm like, yeah, I bring in a class every semester. You went to college, right? They give you different students every semester. This isn't high school. I don't keep these same kids all year round. It's new. Every fall and every spring, they give you different kids to teach. And because I teach I don't teach new classes every semester. It's new students who can learn new things.
Someone said, you know what? Sound advice, actually. Sound advice.
We need to ask Carrington if he's got like a poster of that saying up in his
above his
room
bed
or something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
It's right above his bed.
Someone says CDOT also is a guy who buys used tires. He buys used tires? That's just not something I'm buying used. I don't want to have to rebuy it again. He is notoriously cheap.
That seems problematic. I think he's openly admitted that seems problematic.
If I bought a one before, there was an old tire shop who used to take care of it over in Waldo's. Name was Larry's. Only place on the planet. People are still smoking on the inside.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Larry's
tires. I don't know if they're still around, but that was the place I went.
Okay.
I've had it where they were like, 3 of these tires are in great shape. I got one that looks just like it. It's a year old. And I was like, yeah, throw it on. I've done one, but if I'm getting a set, I'm getting a set. Like if it's time to replace the tires, it's time to get tires are going to last me a while, right? But that's about the only time I'd say.
I did not know that. I mean, I knew that was a thing that you sold used tires. I didn't know Carrington was a used tire guy. I don't know. I learned something new every day about Carrington.
Yeah. You know what? Be all you can be. That was that's his life advice for you.
Not wrong.
It does sound like that's like those posters that they hang up in elementary
That's
schools.
what I'm saying.
It definitely is those.
We all know what we're talking about from when you were in gym class, and it was definitely the Gretzky quote about it and all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever the generic quote is you've seen.
Someone says we should have him come in studio.
Any
We can at
workplace
some point
poster.
if
Come
he gets
on,
when he gets around here. I don't know if he's finishing up some stuff.
Haven't seen him yet, but if I do,
Carrington might as well have said Morgan Freeman's character in Shawshank. Get busy living or get busy dying.
He could have said
any cliche quote. Yeah,
that actually would have been better than what he said, I think.
Yes.
At least
it's like motivational.
It's an encouragement to go out and do stuff. Yeah.
Be all you can be. What the hell does that even mean? They
you
say
can
be all you
shine
can
no
be.
matter what you're made of. Like that's
it's an incomplete piece of motivational advice. They say be all you can be in the Army, as in you can be everything you can be by joining us. He's only partially giving advice. Be all you can be what? In radio? In life?
In life is what he meant, I think. Yep.
I'm missing the rest of it.
In life clearly is what he meant.
Let's get back to football, at least on this end. I was thinking more just like the early view of it, because I know we'll have to have this conversation again later, after the draft, after free agency, after we get a sense of what these rosters are looking like. Early thoughts on who you feel is the tougher team going into next year, the Broncos or the Chargers? Because I'm a little bit worried we're all going to say Chargers, and we're going to overlook the Broncos again because that's how it happened last year. The Chargers were the better – I think they would have been a better team.
Right.
I think they would have won the division had their tackles stayed healthy. But maybe I could just pencil in the Chargers will get hurt again next year, and I should just say the Broncos.
I mean, the Broncos had 14 wins. I don't think they get to 14 again, but we all know the story with the Chargers. For whatever reason, they cannot stay healthy. So, yeah, I look at their quarterback, and I get it. Justin Herbert's an easy target, and he has to simply be better in the postseason and in the big games. That's something that is fair to discuss around him. I still think he's a better quarterback than Bo Nix. That opinion has not changed. But Mike McDaniel, I think, also leads people to thinking that offense can unlock something and maybe unlock more out of Justin Herbert. The Broncos, people still watch them offensively and wonder, okay, are they vulnerable? And can the defense be as dominant in back-to-back seasons? Right now, on the betting markets, they'll tell you that the Chargers are the favorite to win the West, and the Chiefs have slightly better odds than the Broncos at FanDuel.
That is a bit surprising considering what their record ended up finishing, that they were the number 1 seed in the NFL playoff. Like, that to me is a bit surprising. Because even if you take a step back, if you're Denver, do I think they're taking like a 6-game step back?
No, but you go to 14 to 11, and all of a sudden everybody's in the mix in the AFC West.
Yeah, 14 to 10. Like, that's not, like, I don't think they're going to 7 or 8, and all of a sudden they're just not a playoff contending team. Their defense is too good. Their overall roster is too good. I think a lot of this just comes down to the thing, which is like, who do you hate worse or who do you like less? Justin Herbert or Bo Nix? Without question, this is always the toughest part. Justin Herbert is the more talented of the two quarterbacks.
Absolutely.
Bo Nix has already accomplished more in the postseason than Justin Herbert has in his entire career.
Yeah, fair.
Bo Nix has only been around 2 seasons. He won the division, something Herbert's not even come close to doing. Herbert hasn't even sniffed it in his time in Kansas City, and Bo Nix did it in 2 years. So Bo Nix has been the more successful quarterback, and I don't know, this goes back to like the Harbaugh, Sean Payton thing and what you just mentioned with Payton. I think Sean Payton, while he came up way short of Drew Brees, I think he's a better NFL quarterback or coach than Harbaugh. Doesn't mean that I think that there's a huge gap, but I do like Sean Payton as a coach more than Harbaugh, even at this stage of their career.
Harbaugh's thing is just he go wherever he goes, he has success, relatively speaking, first 4 or 5 years, and then usually by the time he leaves, it's just a complete bleep show.
Yeah, whether it's the program into
if in college we're talking about their suspension,
or show calls, or whatever. Right?
There's penalties there when he leaves on an NFL team. There's a little bit of chaos on the way out as well. So that's coming for Harbaugh at some point with the Chargers. I don't know if it's a year from now or 4 years from now. But that's coming. But I think a lot of the interest around the Chargers, it's the fact that everybody looked at the offensive line and agreed, like, that offensive line was so banged up. And then Mike McDaniel's the OC. I know in Kansas City, I don't expect people to believe in him because we heard for 7 years that the Chargers, it was their year. The reason why this offseason the noise makes sense is the Chiefs are vulnerable again.
Yep.
Until we see the plan. The Broncos, for the reasons we just mentioned, there's still the jury is still out for a lot of people, even though they were a 14-win team.
They were the AFC title game,
and if it was
without their starting quarterback.
And if Bo Nix plays in that game,
maybe they win.
Who
Drake
knows?
May play bad enough. Maybe they win.
Maybe they win.
I think
maybe it's the Broncos
their
Seahawks.
Ass kicked in the Super Bowl by the Seahawks.
I
don't think really that mattered, but they wouldn't have won the Super Bowl. But Bo Nix could have been in a Super Bowl already. But like sometimes with quarterbacks who land in this like Bo Nix range, when they have the magical year, I just kind of feel like that's it. Unless I think that they are one of the 5 to 7, 5 to 8 best quarterbacks in the league, Drew. A lot of times when they get to that level, I just kind of feel like, oh, you had your chance. Bet that was fun, but you're not doing that again. You're not going to recreate this team, that team, this moment again because you're not Patrick Mahomes. You're not Joe Burrow. You're not Josh Allen. You're not Matthew Stafford. You don't get to just recreate it every year. You had your moment in the sun. The moment in the sun's going away. I like the Chargers better at this moment. Now, I'll see who they draft, who they sign in free agency, who they bring back, right? I understand that this could move and this could change. But at the moment, I do think the Chargers are the better team. Yeah,
I would take the Broncos just because of the defense. I think it's
it's great.
As simple as that.
Their secondary is awesome.
Like I between that and the offensive line too, I just think that the combination of those things makes up for Bo Nix's lack of talent compared to Justin Herbert.
And he's clutch. Like he comes up big in big moments.
It is surprising probably just to see the gap. It's fairly close. I hadn't looked at FanDuel's divisional odds in 3 weeks since they came out. Guess who's the favorite right now?
Chargers, you said?
That's who it was 3 weeks ago.
Oh, it's the Chiefs now?
FanDuel, Chiefs plus 170. Chargers
changed.
Chargers plus 175, so very close. Broncos plus 210. So they're all, and then the Raiders 22-1. But the Chiefs at FanDuel are back to being AFC West favorites. Nothing has happened. Nothing has happened other than people putting in money and the books adjusting. No moves have been made. No, Kelsey hasn't officially announced what he's doing yet. Mahomes, nothing's changed.
If anything, all they did was cut Mike Dana. They didn't and restructure Patrick Mahomes' contract. There aren't even proper rumors about who's bringing in who at this point. The Sean Payton thing is really interesting, and you and I talked about this as it related to Andy Reid. He has already said, Andy Reid, I still love calling plays. He said that 2 weeks ago. Not this most recent media availability, but the one before that, I think. He
That's
reiterated his love for calling plays in an NFL football game. And the truth is, I don't think he'll ever give it up. But I also didn't think Sean Payton was ever going to give it up. And that must have been the promise he made Davis Webb in order to keep him there.
Yes.
He must have said, hey, I will let you call plays if you stay. Because he was going to go be an offensive coordinator for someone else or a head coach for somewhere else that was going to let him do that. Sean Payton must have had to do it to save it. And that's the difference. And he doesn't have to promise that to Eric Bieniemy or any of these guys.
4 teams reportedly offered Davis Webb a job to be fully in control of somebody else's offense. And Sean Payton did not want to lose him. Remember, he fired his good friend to keep Davis Webb long term, and they gave him a bump in pay, obviously, but also they promised him what we just found out yesterday, which is a bigger role and the role of play calling and participation. Doesn't mean Sean Payton's not going to be involved. So, yeah, it got me thinking, would that ever happen in Kansas City? And I'm with you. I don't think at this stage of his career, Andy Reid will ever give up play calling. I do wonder if let's say it's mid-October, and Mahomes plays week 1. So at that point, you're 5-6 games into the season.
And the
offense is stagnant, and it kind of looks like it's a little stale. Do you think there'll be more noise than ever amongst fans, and heck, even on this show, for there to be change? My only reason why I don't know if it'll matter, and this goes back to the decision and to not interview other people for the OC job. Do I want Eric Bieniemy calling any plays? Is that going to be much different? This is where the outside voice entirely would have made that scenario more intriguing. I don't know if mid-October I'm going to tell you he should not be calling plays because I don't think it's going to change. They're too much of the same in terms of that aspect of it.
I mean, I think Bieniemy might call a few more runs and a few less passes, I guess. It's really hard because really Bieniemy hasn't called a lot of plays in his career. Not zero. He has certainly been
called the 1 year in DC.
Yeah, and I think he called it UCLA.
Did he? Okay.
So he's had a little bit of taste of it. And Andy claims, and I just want to point out, I was covering the team full time during the Doug Peterson and Eric Bieniemy stuff. He kept claiming they were calling plays. They weren't. They weren't. They might have called a play as in, hey, Andy, what do you think about this? Which they do on the headset anyway, and it was his play. And then Andy, he was just trying to get his guys hired. Andy loves it too much. I think Andy would quit before he gave up play calling. I don't think it's ever going to happen in Kansas City. But it does take, and this goes back to my normal thing, I want Andy Reid to never be, and this is the issue I have with this year's coaching staff. I think he has a hard time recruiting young, exciting coaches to come here. Davis Webb was in the system, but it's like he needs more people like that. People with ambition. Everyone he has on his staff is just, look, I'm sure Eric Bieniemy and Spags say they want head coaching jobs or whatever. Everyone on his staff is just a lifer at what they're doing. Bieniemy is a lifer offensive coach. Spags is a lifer defensive coordinator. His running back coach, his wide receiver coach. Chad O'Shea is a lifer wide receiver coach. These aren't people with aspirations of bigger jobs. Webb is a person with an aspiration for a bigger job. He doesn't have very many people. I'm not saying there's zero, but he doesn't have that many. He used to have people like that. Bieniemy and Nagy and Kafka, they used to they were trying to be somewhere. They were trying to get out in a couple of years, have their own gig, do their own thing. And while a couple people can say that out loud, like Spags would take a head coaching job, just not even realistic. So all you have is a bunch of lifetime football guys, not people trying to innovate and extend and do these other things. I think it's good for Sean Payton that a guy like Webb is on his staff and that he's willing to let go of a guy who was a lifer and with him for life in order to protect this. It says a lot to give him play calling duty. It's a risk, there's no doubt, but
we'll see if the Broncos offense looks any different. Does it look like still a Sean Payton offense, or is it completely different in terms of how they go about their business? This is the perfect example of the text line that I love. Literally back-to-back text. So this is great. I love this. Just for you guys can't see it, but just don't want to peel back the curtain. So we were just mentioning how the Broncos, the Chiefs were slight favorites at FanDuel to win the West now. And one text from the 816. How the hell are the Chiefs favorites? 0 running backs, no good wide receivers, terrible pass rush. Okay, that's one text. Text right above that. Why wouldn't the Chiefs be the favorites? Nobody thinks this team sucks more than local media. So it just tells you that's what we do. So like you can't, that's a perfect summation of the text line. One text be like, they suck. No way they should be a favorite. Another one is, why shouldn't they be favorites? You guys in local media are the only people that think the team sucks. So that's just, I laughed at that one. Back-to-back text. Different people.
Think they suck, and I think that they can contend for a Super Bowl this year. But it doesn't mean that I don't want them to be all they can be. As Carrington Harrison once wisely said to my class, I want the Chiefs to be all they can be.
Yeah.
Somebody was just like listing off stuff in the chat saying he could have said
pointing out the concerns of a team that won 6 games does not mean you think they're trash. They are held to a high standard.
Yeah.
They've been that's the standard they have set. And so I don't know, just to act like last year was just nothing and there's nothing to be concerned about and there were no issues and there's no roster questions. Like, that's just not being realistic. This team has major questions. Do I think they're going to win 6 games again next year? No. Do I think they're just going to go back to win 14? No. So that's the balance take where I'm at. I think they're competing for a wild card spot, maybe for the division if they make every single move and it pans out in the draft. I think they're back to being a playoff type of team. But this idea of like just because you agree that, hey, man, play calling was a problem, and is the scheme, is it gotten stale, and do they need to have a better run game, and what's up with the secondary? Like these are all things. These are all fair questions.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean the team's trash. You think people aren't asking questions still about the Patriots? They were in the Super Bowl. You think the New England Patriots fans aren't asking whether they have the right quarterback? Do you think they're not asking whether or not their left tackle needs to be replaced? Yeah. Of course they are. This is what you do.
Look, there are things in this team that work. That's what we talked about with the strength has been their secondary and Steve Spagnuolo and these other guys. There are things that work. Look, it is inevitably good for the Chiefs that Steve Spagnuolo is the defensive coordinator. He's not going other places. I don't mean every single coach on your staff needs to be trying to get out in 2 years, but I do think that you need young, driven people to keep everyone motivated to be their best. I think that works. I think there's a good dichotomy in that in sports, and it drives you. The same as like young players help veteran players and veteran players help young players on NFL teams or baseball teams or basketball teams. I think there's this idea, can really make that boost. That's all. I mean, that goes back to the thing we were talking about to lead the show, the wide receiver. I'm not saying they can't have a plan. I'm saying please do. Like, if they take a wide receiver at 9, I can't let it be Xavier Worthy's rookie year, McCole Hardman's rookie year, Tyreek Hill's rookie year, and he was taken much later. You take one at 9, I need him to be the best wide receiver on the team, or to be the number 1 targeted wide receiver on the team, or co-number 1 with Rice at worst. But with a potential suspension, we'll talk to that about Nate Taylor, who I think is already just kind of anticipating it. But if you think that's the case and you take him at 9, I just need him to be, what's your plan? Because the plan at wide receiver, any wide receiver they draft is, we'll take our time. That's been their plan for every wide receiver they've taken, except Rashee Rice in the last, 7 years. We'll take our time. Well, either Jalen Royals or Cornell Powell them, as in they just won't get on the field at all.
Yeah, Jalen Royals was a 4th round pick, though. I have no.
Cornell Powell was a 4th or 5th, I thought. Was he not? Was he later than that?
You said Jalen Royals at first. Sorry.
No.
He was
I'm
a
just saying.
4th round pick.
I said guys like that. No.
Cornell Powell was just a flat out bust.
Yeah,
we just don't
Royals
know about.
Might be. I don't
know.
know. I'm saying they either take these guys that they just like
Powell
bench
was a
for.
5th.
Yeah, they just bench for a year and they sit on and we see if they're any good. Or they take these 2nd round or 1st round guys and they slow walk them like Worthy or McCole and get them a little bit involved in some gimmick stuff. I'm saying it can't be that.
Well, yeah, drafting at 9 is different than drafting
right away,
at 28. I mean, yeah, it's different at number 9 than drafting at pick 28.
Yeah, that's all. I wasn't saying. I'm just the only wide receiver I can think of in the entire Andy Reid era in which they just started up right away was Rashee Rice. It should look like that. At number 9, it should look like Rashee Rice's rookie year. He was the number 1 targeted wide receiver right away. He wasn't the number 1 targeted player. Travis Kelce still existed. So, like, number 9 could be behind Rashee Rice in targets, I guess. But he better at least be 2. Because my genuine fear for this, Gold, is what'll happen is if they took one at 9. They take one at 9, and the number 1 targeted wide receiver will be Rashee Rice. Let's just say he plays all season. And the number 2 targeted guy will be Travis Kelce. And then there'll be a distant third, and Xavier Worthy and Guy at 9 will like split the targets. And you're like, nope. I don't care that Worthy was a first-round pick. That's behind it now. He is, I'm not saying he is what he is. He can certainly still have an Alec Pierce arc and take a big season. But, if you take someone at 9, they should be ahead of Worthy on the depth chart. They should be getting more targets than Travis Kelce in the upcoming year, which I think you agree with just because you think Travis Kelce's targets
they need to be reduced. Yeah, they need to be reduced even if he comes back here in 2026. All right, up next, we'll get to what's trending. We'll talk more about Carlos Estevez and the concern there, plus some of the major NFL storylines. We already mentioned Sean Payton giving up play calling, but there's an update around Aaron Rodgers, and could one of the top left tackles in NFL history be on the move?
Cody and Gold.
I'm just telling you the facts.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Ever wanted to go to the NBA Finals? Well, now's your chance, courtesy of FanDuel. All you have to do is use your profit boost on an NBA future, and you'll be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. NBA futures let you lock in your pick for who you think is going to go all the way, whether it's a team to win the championship or a conference title, a tight race in the East or a race in the Western Conference. Maybe you want to look at some of the futures now post-trade deadline. Did Cleveland sell you with the James Harden trade that you should be making a bet on them to win the Eastern Conference? Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Limit 1 entry. For Profit Boost token, opt-in required. Must apply Profit Boost token on select market. Restrictions apply. See full terms, including methods of entry, at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Don't let winter get you off guard. Keep your family cozy with a $69 heating system tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. We have pros available 7 days a week to keep your system running at peak efficiency, helping prevent costly breakdowns, lower energy bills, and keep your home warm all winter long. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
License number 2025-11121.
Advent Health welcomes the KC Golf Show, February 27th through March 1st at the Overland Park Convention Center. Get front door bonuses like 5 Great Life golf rounds, Golf to Mules National, free balls, sim time with Barry's Golf and Groove and Birdie's Indoor Golf, and get an Advent Health Championship ticket, all while they last. Saturday the 28th is Women's Day, presented by Elevated Home Team and Keller Williams Realty Partners. Test drive Callaway, Mizuno, Cleveland, and more with Golf MD. See the new RMI carts. Play the Edwards Jones Straight Drive, Genesis of Kansas City Long Putt, and the Midwest Golf Innovation Simulator. Get lessons with Imperial Golf. Roll it with Extreme Green and Evolved putters. Relax in Yingling Flight's 19th hole. Savor samples from Tito's Vodka and Booth Creek Wagyu. All at the Golf Show, February 27th through March 1st at the OP Convention Center. Thanks to Lake of the Ozarks Golf Trail. Visit Mississippi, Old Kinderhook, and Mulligan's Country Club. Kids under 12 are free. Tickets at kansascitygolfshow.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The greatest insult the Colonel ever suffered was being served a wrap that was just a snack by a friend. So he took 2 crispy tenders, lettuce, tomatoes, and pepper mayo, and wrapped them in a soft tortilla. It wasn't a snack, it was a meal. He called it a twister, and never called that friend again. The Colonel lived, so we could chicken. The Twister, now back at KFC, classic or with bacon. Also try it spicy. It's finger-licking good.
Prices and participation may vary.
Hi, I'm Chef Franklin Becker. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
Beyond the Pitch KC, a new podcast hosted by Scott Parks and Rob Brenton, telling the stories behind the World Cup in Kansas City. Starts Wednesday, March 4th on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station. What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Number one on what's trending, college basketball locally, Kansas State at Colorado tonight. But the big story locally last night was the Missouri Tigers picked up another top 25 win over Tennessee. They got 3 left of the regular season. They're going to take on Mississippi State, Oklahoma, and then they wrap up on March 7th against top 20 Arkansas. Good thing they played Tennessee this week, too. Just a week ago, Tennessee was not ranked, so it goes down as another ranked win. For Missouri, they now even up their quad 1 wins and quad 2 wins. They're 9-9 between the two on the year. SEC play has been very good for Missouri. We know the non-conference is the only reason why they're viewed as the last 4 in over at Jerry Palm's Bracketology, but they put themselves in a spot where I think they're going to get in. The question is, are they going to get off the Dayton, Ohio first 4 line?
That we don't know yet. We'll have to pay attention to that for Missouri. But, again, another huge win for them last night, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. Next up on What's Trending, Royals spring training. Royals yesterday, Jack Kagleon got his first home run of spring, a 460-foot home run. As you heard Vern and J.J. Picola with us earlier, they're not currently worried about the velocity for Carlos Estevez. And then, of course, Isaac Collins got into his first game action yesterday as well. So just keep an eye out over in spring training. I did see some highlights of Kendry Churio throwing 96, 97 miles an hour. So we'll see, man. I'm excited about the Royals' young pitching. I know it's several years away still, most likely, but they've got some, like, real talent. Some, like, baseball. Everyone in baseball loves them talent at pitching.
Elsewhere in the NFL, the belief around the league, according to Adam Schefter, is that Aaron Rodgers will make his decision about whether he's going to return for this season, which will be his 22nd NFL year, by mid-March. And the feeling is that he could be back with the Steelers. We all know that connection. Mike McCarthy, now the head coach with Pittsburgh. And it feels like that's who they're just going to bring back. At least this time it seems like, we're going to get to mid-March. We're not going to be sitting around in June and having this drag out through an ayahuasca trip.
Yeah, look, Omar Khan was pretty much begging him to come back. They don't even want to start for them otherwise. And they could still take a guy like Simpson or Aller and develop a guy if they want. Next up on What's Trending, the Jacksonville Jaguars and Commanders will be the host teams for NFL's 3 London games in 2026. Jaguars staying there back-to-back weeks for, I believe, the second straight year. The league, or no, it was a different team last year. The league announced Wednesday morning, starting to run out of teams for the Chiefs to face in one of these international games. So we'll see what takes place. They've announced a lot of the teams and a lot of the cities. Chiefs yet to be on the docket, so we'll pay attention to whether or not they get added as one of the opponents. They got one less home game this year, so if they were to do it, you should be looking for a road game. I think that's the one that would likely take precedent.
Lastly, on what's trending, the Savannah Bananas, who, by the way, are coming to Kansas City again later on this year. They're expanding their deal with ESPN. They're going to air 25 games across its platforms this year, including the Bananas ABC debut. They've never been on ABC before. And ESPN platforms will air 10 games, or aired 10 games last year. So they're going up from 10 to 25. And last year's 10 games averaged 502,000 viewers. It was awesome at the K this past year when it was here. And so it continues to be one of the hottest tickets in sports. I know it sounds crazy to think, but it really is. And I think we all recognize right now it's the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball.
Yep.
And they've got unbelievable momentum.
I think some of their interest will wane a little. Like eventually, it won't be this popular. But the Globetrotters still get a massive crowd every time they come to T-Mobile. So I don't think it'll go there. Lastly, on what's trending, the Pittsburgh Penguins have placed Captain Sidney Crosby on the injured reserve. He'll miss at least 4 weeks after being injured during the Olympics. I remember I got hurt in that semifinal game.
He didn't play.
Or in the
he didn't play in the
quarterfinal
semis.
game.
Or the,
Didn't play
or
in the semifinals. His leg awkwardly bent on that hit in the quarters, and he will miss at least a month for Canada.
For
Pittsburgh.
I was going to say another tough blow for Canada, but it's his NHL team, actually.
Yeah.
It's his NHL team.
Screw the Penguins. They teased us to come in here and then just went back to Pittsburgh anyway. Could have had the Penguins here, man. We could have had Sidney Crosby here.
Thank you for reminding us.
It was never going to happen. They were obviously
they were just toying with
us.
Kansas City. They used Kansas City for an arena in Pittsburgh. We all know that happened.
Oh, yeah. It worked, by the way. So, same, sometimes you got to applaud the people it worked for. Like Jerome Tang used Arkansas's job to get himself paid. Kudos,
Let's get into the NFL storylines. We mentioned Aaron Rodgers for a second. Let's talk about him briefly because he is expected to make a decision mid-March to return, whether or not he's going to return to the NFL. And it feels like if he's returning, he's going back to Pittsburgh. We've been saying this for a couple years around the Steelers, and this is why the McCarthy hire didn't make a whole lot of sense. It just seemed like the safe and lazy hire because you hire McCarthy, and that means you're probably going the veteran route. You don't bring in McCarthy to go find a young quarterback, and you're not drafting high enough to get one. So Rodgers or any of these other veterans seem like the most likely option. And if I tell you Rodgers, Malik Willis, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, a trade for a Mac Jones, for example, Rodgers is still the best of that bunch, right?
He is.
So if that's the waters you're in,
Malik Willis is the only guy who's got way more upside, and you might get a starting quarterback for a number of years.
If they would have hired a younger head coach, I would have said, maybe they would try Malik Willis. But that's not who they hired. So it just naturally feels like Aaron Rodgers is probably the best they can do in that spot. But yet again, they're going to live in the 9 to 10 win realm of the AFC North.
I think we are undervaluing the fact that the reason why they're 9 or 10 wins, even with their problems, is Tomlin.
Oh, well, he certainly played a huge role.
I think the Steelers are going to win 6 games. And then I think they're going to be picking in the top 10, and then they'll take a quarterback next year. And they'll win 6 or 7 games this year with Aaron Rodgers, who will roll his dusty ass off the bench one more time to play for his 22nd season. And look, there are worse quarterbacks in the NFL. He's better than Bryce Young is today. If you made me for a single season start a quarterback, I'd choose him over, I don't know.
But if you're
8 to 10 guys, but if you're the Steelers, and I know they didn't fire Tomlin, you want to be in purgatory forever? Or do you want to eventually escape this hell? And it seems like they're just kind of content to be mediocre for a lifetime. I don't know.
We're discussing it from the Steelers angle, but if you're Rodgers and you come back, is Pittsburgh the only place you want to go?
I think you could win better in some other spots.
I'm talking about earlier Minnesota. We said, hey, if they're going to not have J.J. McCarthy as a definitive starter, Kirk Cousins for natural reasons makes a ton of sense.
You're going to throw to Justin Jefferson instead?
But would Aaron Rodgers not be a potential fit? If I'm Kevin O'Connell, if I'm going to go the veteran route, I would just bring in Kirk Cousins instead of Rodgers. But if you're Rodgers, would you not have serious interest?
I would.
in Minnesota over going to Pittsburgh, or are you just comfortable because it's Mike McCarthy and you guys cleaned up your relationship or whatever it was? They had some issues at the final year or so in Green Bay, and now apparently they're good.
Look, it's not better than – you'd rather have Pittsburgh than Miami, Cleveland, the Jets. And of course, it wouldn't be the Jets anyway, but you get my point. The teams who will need a starting quarterback this year. Atlanta would be intriguing to me if they'd call. If Atlanta came and offered me, that'd be my number one choice, as a matter of fact. Even more, no. God, Minnesota. O'Connell got 9 wins and still has Justin Jefferson. Minnesota be 1. Atlanta would probably be 2. If they just said, we're not going to start Penix this year, you want to start? I'd take them over Pittsburgh, too. Pittsburgh is as they are as a team, the middle. I found a couple of NFL storylines. I found that one interesting. I think the 49ers are playing some dumb game of chicken with Trent Williams.
Are they going to really separate?
No. Did you look at the numbers?
He's 30.
First, they can't cut him before June 1st. They would only save him $4 million. That'd be insane.
So Trent Williams is 37, final year of his contract, $32 million in non-guaranteed base pay. Cap hit is $38 million. And Schefter is saying, the team and him are struggling to find a solution. He could be released, technically. The 49ers do owe him $10 million on April 1st if they're willing to carry his cap to try to trade him. But he's amazing. He's a future Hall of Famer, one of the greatest left tackles in NFL history. 37 years old with a $32 million cap hit.
Yeah, but what's he supposed to do? Just lower his cap hit? Pay me an extension. That's what he wants, by the way.
Well,
Trent Williams has always been about the check.
Yes,
Let's not try to pretend that this is new information. When you signed him, he was about the check. You outdid the Chiefs' offer to make sure he took the check. That man always has made sure. He's held out to make sure he's gotten paid. He doesn't show up for free. Trent Williams is great at what he does. He's one of the few players I'd say both great at what they do and does not show up for 1 cent less than someone will pay him for. So I assume that's why this crossroads is taking place. By the way, I assume there are 15 teams in the NFL take Trent Williams right now. So I don't think he's short on a market. Now, not take Trent Williams at the number he is.
I was going to say,
it has to come in an extension and to lower his cap hit number for this year and everything else. But I don't understand why the 49ers don't just do that. They're in a weird spot. They got a quarterback they're not sure about. They're up and down in any given year. How many more years do they have of dominant Christian McCaffrey or dominant George Kittle, who's coming off a major injury? They got to figure out where they are. I understand. They're just old everywhere in some spots. Keeping Trent Williams alive is just
what kind of an extension am I giving a 37-year-old?
2 years.
Though? Yeah,
Peters played till he was 40.
Trent Williams is awesome.
40.
He's awesome, but I'm gonna get a deal that takes him through his 40-year-old season as a left tackle.
You think you just let him go? Eat the $12 million?
I would look at
Post
trading
June
him.
1,
I would look to see if he wants to trade for him.
What would you get?
If he truly is not willing to negotiate something to lower the cap number down.
On Pro Football Focus last year, where do you think he rated amongst
I'm guessing still fairly high.
Third.
Yeah,
he's 89 available tackles at 91.5. So he's still one of the best. He's also, I will say, this is the part about he performs really well and really hasn't shown any real significant drop-off in his ability.
Played 16 games last year.
When he plays. But he did have an injury the year before, but he did play a full season. But he was hurt. You know what it was? He played 16 games last year, but he was always hurt. As in, there was always a question about, is Trent available today? Is he okay? Will he be all right? Oh, he didn't practice. Just extend him. I honestly think that's what I would do. I love running out old players to different franchises. I'm not trying to solve left tackle if I'm the 49ers, considering my current position. Not unless I think I can sign the tackle that randomly got rumored with the Chiefs by Jason Lockenfora. You want to tell me I can get maybe the Packers guy and I think he's good? Fine. But they know how much better Trent Williams is than any other available option in the free agency market. Or on the trade market.
Yeah, the Niners are not cutting him. The Niners are not just cutting him, though. He's either going to play or he's getting traded. They're not just going to outright release him. It doesn't make any sense.
Boy, what a run. All-pro first team, 3 years in a row. Took a 1 year off because he got hurt, and he was all-pro second team last year at left tackle. He's the best left tackle. One of the best left tackles ever. I'm not saying he is for sure. I don't want to.
No, I think there's
he's one of the best left tackles of all time.
Yeah, I think there's an argument that he's maybe the best left tackle in NFL history. There's a strong case.
Yeah.
A very special player. Obviously, the Chiefs came very close to getting him a couple years back before the Orlando Brown Jr. trade. Prior to that, we all know.
Which they had. They wouldn't have been looking for left tackles this whole time.
Yeah.
They could just be worried about extending him right now at 37. But that entire time that they were having a hard time keeping left tackles, I wish they had gotten Trent Williams and then not having to give up a first-round pick for Orlando Brown Jr. Although I will say, in retrospect, that ended up being they should have kept Orlando Brown Jr. happy. It was a mistake to let him go. For the amount of money he costs, what they paid Jawan Taylor, and what they've used in resources since then. And look, Simmons might still very well work out, so that's not like a lost resource or anything. But like when you think about like the high value pick for Kingsley, who's not a tackle, he's a good guard, but like you were doing it to get a tackle. They should have just paid Orlando Brown Jr. But they got sideways with him because he ended up taking less, I don't think from the Chiefs. I think he ended up just taking less because he wanted to land back with a contender. And I do think winning mattered to him, but the Chiefs had already moved on and decided they could do better than him. And that ended up being a mistake. I think that they'd have been better served by just paying Orlando Brown Jr. Drew, how was he last year? I didn't watch him a ton.
He was fine.
But the previous years, he was
the offensive line was better. I still think there's moments where
he loses sometimes. That's just who he is.
Yeah, I think I would say he's solid. Tackle. Yeah, solid.
Like I'd say that's no different than he didn't rank great in Pro Football Focus, but the previous 2 years it was working better.
I think he's been fine.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know.
He might have been one of the worst offensive linemen last year on that team, actually, which is kind of crazy. But Amarius Mims got really good at the end of the year. Ted Karras was maybe a top 3 center, I think, Pro Football Focus wise, in all of football last year. Dalton Reisner came over and was really good.
Oh yeah, Dalton Reisner,
and the rookie Dylan Fairchild was pretty solid too. As
interviewed him on some random radio once, I think. Yeah, you and I, right?
Super Bowl.
I was like, I remember talking to Dalton Reisner.
He was promoting something.
Yeah,
some with the Special Olympics. I think he had a Special Olympics.
I believe that's true.
Now it's all coming back. Mm-hmm. Friend of the show, apparently, Dalton Reisner. But yeah, I think that there's something. I think there's real smoke there. I think they'll probably eventually get something done. But I do think it's, hey, do you think you could lower your number for us? And he's like, nah, I don't do that. So do you want to just give me an extension? You can lower my number that way. It's real easy. You just turn it into a signing bonus. You pay me a lot more money. You guarantee me a few more years playing here in, the Bay Area, and we're all good. And they're like, ooh, we just thought maybe we could finagle the numbers a little bit. He's like, no, thanks. What do you got? I think there's something real there. I think Sean Payton giving up play calling is a big deal. Aaron Rodgers, I got to say, what? Like you said, just get out of it. Just eject. Be bad, Steelers, for 1 year.
Not once they hired Mike McCarthy.
For 1 year, just be bad.
They hired the wrong guy for that. Like they hired the wrong guy. If that's,
I don't want that to happen. They can keep on going 9-8 every season, please.
Yeah. See, that's
the last thing they need is a good quarterback.
I always think that.
What are you eating?
Taco, I think.
Sorry.
I
was finishing.
It was so noticeable. I had to bring it up. Yeah,
but yeah, the last thing the Ravens and the Bengals and the Browns want is for the Steelers to be bad for a year.
I always feel
especially with next year's quarterback class, please.
And I'm not saying you should listen to fans all the time if you're an organization, because fans are wrong a lot. I get it. We're wrong a lot, all that stuff. But if everyone on the planet who roots against you is happy about the decision you made, that should give you some cause for concern. It was like when, I did not have a problem from a competitive standpoint when Cincinnati paid both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I'm like, good, please. Or kept Zach Taylor. Neat. Zach Taylor, lifetime extension. I hope he's our coach forever. If everyone, not just me, but if everyone feels that way about the decision you're making, you should look hard at the decision you're making. If everyone who hates the Steelers is like, sure, go get McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers. Yep, no problems here. We're all good with it. You should have some pause that this is a bad decision.
Keep the quarterback rotation going. The same thing the Colts have been going through for years now, ever since Andrew Luck left.
Someone said it's Nick back in the buttons. We were always catching Nick eating back there. I think sometimes we brought it on.
No, look, in fairness, the office has
a lunch once a month.
Has lunch today, and there's some good tacos and stuff, and we all quickly grabbed a plate.
Hadn't quite finished my bite yet.
And yeah, that's why it happened. Someone says, thanks, Drew. I'm hungry.
Good times, man.
Coming up in 12 minutes, we're heading out to Indianapolis. We're going to be joined by Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider for The Athletic. We'll ask him what he made of Brett Veach's comments yesterday. Also, there's a lot of noise. Remember, you're going to hear that the Chiefs met with this player. Of course they did. Like today, the Chiefs met with Ruben Bain. Of course, I'd be really concerned if they did not meet with Ruben Bain. So some of
and Bailey and
yeah.
Everyone
so we'll
else
ask him what he heard from maybe some of those prospects. Plus more on the Travis Kelce aspect of what Brett Veach said yesterday. So that's coming up in just a little bit. Don't forget, though, when we talk Royals baseball, our spring training coverage on 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Park and Go, the best deal on airport parking. I think we've kind of all put ourselves in the same spot with Carlos Estevez right now, between what Vern just told us in the 11 o'clock hour, what Royals general manager J.J. Picollo told us yesterday, and that is Carlos Estevez, everybody acknowledges that he's a slow starter in spring. He ramps up. The velocity's not there. Nobody's
even hitting 90.
There's no denying the velocity is not there. But I'll remind you what J.J. Picollo said yesterday on where they're at least for Carlos, which is not concerned yet.
Yeah, he's historically been a low velocity guy in spring training. So last year was our first year with Carlos. And we're watching it, and we're getting a little uneasy. And finally, you have conversations with Carlos, and obviously the pitching coaches do every day. He's like, "Hey, don't worry, I'll be ready opening day. This is just how I get ready." So you don't see the higher velocities. And we probably saw, it wasn't until I think week 2 or 3 of the regular season where we really saw him come into his own. He's not a 98 to 100 mile an hour closer. He's not that type of guy. He relies on command. He relies on deception, but there is an expected velocity out of him. And historically speaking, he is a little bit of a slow starter. And I think some of his interest in participating in the WBC, it's the first time he's really been asked to do it from the get-go, is to try to get to that spot a little bit earlier.
So it's
essentially
officially one you file away, and if we're 10 games into this season and the velocity is still not up, then you start worrying.
Yeah, I mean, if we get to the end of spring training and he's still throwing 90, I'm going to be like,
But he was last year, so that's why I don't think I'll fully panic there. But a week or two in the season, if it's not gone up, then it's a problem. And then as Vern kind of told us, I do think they would just put Ursig there. He said he doesn't think Ursig looks like he did a year and a half ago.
He doesn't look like 2 years ago Ursig, which was one of the better relievers in baseball. But last year's Ursig, who was good, but certainly more of a sweat, I guess is how I would put it. I don't know how you would. But he was certainly more of a sweat.
He wasn't as dominant.
Yeah, he was more problematic and less consistent. But he, I don't want to make it seem like I think that Lucas Ursig was bad. He threw 61 games with a 2.64 ERA. He was good. He was a good reliever. He just wasn't the guy he was the year before that when he actually posted a higher ERA, but was just more dominant, more consistently dominant, and responsible for more saves. Lower walk rate, lower home run rate, lower FIP or whatever, any of the stats people care about. All the advanced metrics and the strikeouts and all that other stuff, didn't like Ursig nearly as much. But he was still an effective reliever. And if you got one guy who can't get his velocity up, well then, yeah, I'm probably going to consider and look at that as a real option. But I definitely think it's not a forget about it. It's fine. No worries. I think it's like you said, it's a file away. Okay, I recognize it. We don't have to keep bringing it up every time he pitches on this show or pay attention to it every time he pitches on this show. But I'm not going to forget that he doesn't have any velocity right now and that lefties are knocking it out of the ballpark every time they get a chance to see him. During spring training. I'm just going to keep an eye on it. He seems very confident that this is who he is.
And even if Carlos is right, meaning we fast forward to May and he's got the velocity where it's at, the one thing, no matter what, and he did this despite having 42 saves, he's not going to be the guy that just strikes out the side. That's not him. It's not going to be a 1-2-3 strikeout type of pitcher. It's going to be a little more of an adventure with him, and he's going to pitch a little more to contact than you want from a closer.
Especially
that was the formula. Because
yeah.
I remember texts we got the first month and a half last year, which was he shouldn't be the closer, move on from him. And he ended up leading the American League, and he had a career high in 42 saves. Was an all-star.
Was it American League or baseball?
Might have been everybody. I don't know. Hader was an all-star too, right? Josh Hader down in Houston. I can't remember what the exact, but 42 put him certainly in the position to do that.
He led all of baseball. Second was Robert Suarez at 40, but he led all of baseball at 42 saves. And look, some of those guys had a better ERA. Chapman had a 1.17. Munoz had a 1.73. Duran had a 2.06. So it's not saying like guys couldn't be more regularly dominant. And this is always the problem with closers, especially closers who aren't just like, I strike everybody out closers. Because I'll tell you this much. He strikes out way less people than most closers in baseball, right? And so the fear of regression should be real because this is the Royals' bullpen problem for much of last year. Really, their only pitching staff issue. They didn't get enough strikeouts. You got to get more people out without putting the ball in play, because if the ball's in play, things can go wrong. Their defense was worse last year. They made more errors, more mistakes, more throwing mistakes. Just more things can go bad. He had the lowest out of the top 10 closers last year in total number of saves. He had the least amount of strikeouts than any of them.
That's why he wasn't the reliever of the year in baseball. Because if you look at everything else, it would have been him. But he wasn't the name. He was also on a team that wasn't in the postseason. And this goes back to even the rotation and the middle of the bullpen. You know, there's the balance of, it's great if you have an opportunity to save 42 games because you're winning games, but also you're in a lot of one run games.
How about you win a couple of them like 2, 3, 4 even? Yeah. Let's separate that gap a little bit.
All right, up next, let's go to Indianapolis and check in with Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from ESPN, and ask him a little bit about what Brett Veach had to say yesterday. Plus, does he hear anything on some possible free agents? His agents are there, so maybe we can get some insight on that next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Sex, intimacy, love. These three things are critical to a good relationship, and that's the problem with erectile dysfunction. It often destroys sexual enjoyment and intimacy. It stresses the love between partners, often to the breaking point. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED, you likely know exactly what I'm talking about. But I also want you to know that ED doesn't have to impact your relationship anymore. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts with our focus on men's sexual health. We've treated tens of thousands of men and have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. I promise you, if you're like most guys, you can get your sex life back, perhaps even performing like you haven't in years. So if ED is affecting you, it's time to get back to better sex, better intimacy, and deeper love. Call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
DQ presents The Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
Have you ever wanted to go to the NBA Finals? Well, now's your chance, courtesy of our friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. All you need to do is use your profit boost on an NBA future, and you'll be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. NBA Futures, lock in your pick on who you think is going to go all the way, whether it's a team to win the championship or win the Western or Eastern Conference. Maybe you think that San Antonio is going to upset OKC out west. Maybe you got any idea who's going to come out of the Eastern Conference. Maybe you like Boston with the possible return of Jason Tatum. Whatever your bet is for the future, visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. Remember, play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 of President, Missouri. No purchase necessary. Limit 1 entry. 4 Profit Boost token. Opt-in required. Must apply Profit Boost token on select market. Restrictions apply. See full terms, including methods of entry at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast!
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture, and then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with AutoPay, plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Rob Site Ford, KC's Ford volume leader and top rated on Google. 135th and State Line. Rob Site Ford, your 2025 Ford volume leader. Top rated on Google with 4.8 stars and 3,000 plus reviews. The best selection, best prices, in Kansas City's best customer service. Visit Rob Site Ford at 135th and State Line. Buy right, save big, and drive home a winner. Only at Rob Site Ford.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Back here on Cody and Gold, we'll get to the random question of the day in about 15 minutes or so. We were working to connect out in Indy with our guy, Nate Taylor. As soon as we have him on the line, we'll head out there, talk a little Chiefs football, plus NFL in general. What's going on at the Combine today? You're starting to see a lot of players at the podiums doing interviews, and you're finding out what teams maybe have talked to who.
Don't get too hung up on it.
No, and also, you get some insight, what were the, what was the meeting like with Kansas? What kind of interest would you have in the Chiefs? That kind of stuff. Plus, underrated part of the Combine, it's not, everybody thinks it's just the draft. No, there's agents. Every single agent is there. So that's where you get the rumblings about who wants a new deal and who might want to be traded and noise of where they want to sign and everything. Mm-hmm.
Like all that other stuff. Drew was telling us in the break, he said you were getting ready to go out and get a few more chips.
Yeah.
He said in the break that he doesn't think that he thinks Binkley's going to actually fall in love with Ruben Bain, because Ruben Bain's comment today was, I'm a football guy. I don't have any hobbies.
Okay.
Eat, drink, sleep it. Doesn't matter.
He said, I eat, sleep, breathe football. I have no hobbies.
Teams are going to love that. Teams are going to love hearing that.
He's
just a football guy. Just a football guy.
Other than the short arms, according to Bink. I mean, I don't know. His comment there might have convinced him. We'll have to see.
Has he been measured yet?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Because sometimes,
to my knowledge, no.
Who was the player? Who was the quarterback, Drew? Who ended up the quarterback who ended up being 4 inches shorter? Oh, it was Pavia, wasn't it?
Yeah. He was 5. He was 5'9".
Yeah.
I mean,
that is 5 inches difference.
Mm-hmm.
I
might legitimately be based on what he was claiming to play at college.
I had a few inches to spare.
But either way,
some of us
do. I don't know why I said it like that.
I don't know. I don't even know what was that about?
It's like the scene from Seinfeld where Elaine's like, I can't spare a square. Like that's how I said that, essentially.
I'm just running some problems. I just do think some people do get hung up. This goes back to the mock draft stuff and the other things we talk about on the show sometimes. just seeing, and I would just tell you, like most NFL people who follow the league all the time will tell you this, so you don't have to just take it from me. If you see Reuben, Bain, and Bailey both confirm that they had a meeting with the Chiefs, those meetings can be to get intel on a different player that they like, to eliminate a player from their board. It could be to
they
actually
still have the
draft
visits
them
later. Then they still have the top 20 or whatever it is, top 100, top 20 visits.
These official meetings, these official visits, the UC reported out here at the Combine, the hit rate of those players eventually get drafted by them, it's still relatively low, right? It's not, I don't think you need to get carried away with it, and it's not going to be in that situation. As we wait for Nate Taylor here on the show, I will say the text line's going back to like the offensive stuff and the things we were talking about with the bullpen. It's just so funny because I always fear it's like the way with the yips. They're like, oh, we solved our hitting problem, so here comes the pitching. Somebody said they're worried we're going to have a top 5 offense and then the bullpen will be a problem all of a sudden. I don't think that that's likely. Don't you think the pitching just can only be so bad for the Royals?
Oh, don't say that. No, don't say that. I think
it has a very high floor. Would that be a better way of saying it?
The rotation does. I think the bullpen, there is still reasons to. The bullpen is such a fickle thing that can change pretty quickly. All of a sudden, the guy that had 42 saves for you just doesn't have, worst case scenario stuff, just doesn't have the velocity anymore. Well, then you have a massive hole as a closer, and you are now forced to move other people to a role that they aren't comfortable in. Matt Strom doesn't really want to be a closer, then that makes you weaker in other areas. The bullpen would be a scenario that could change more. The rotation, there might be a particular pitcher that is disappointing, but I do think they have some depth in the minors to call up somebody. The bullpen, I feel like, yes, at a trade deadline, you can go acquire a piece fairly easily. But is it too late at that point in time if it's really, really bad? Like if the offense is rolling, but all of a sudden we're going to be sitting here and the bullpen become an issue, that would be an easier thing to fix than if the outfield was an issue, to your point, though. I'll give you that. Like if you told me that the trade-off is the offense is rolling and it's July and we're all like, man, they got to trade for a bullpen piece. Well, way easier to go find a stud in the bullpen than it is to go find a right fielder or a left fielder or center fielder at the deadline.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. That's been the case all the time. I just think both have a high floor. Because, again, I think there's options. If everything was falling apart in the bullpen and they needed to go to Avila, they can do that. They've got choices of players. They can, and Daniel Lynch and these other guys who've been in camp and have been around the big league club, they have options to go around. James MacArthur coming off the injury. And I'm not saying he's going to be a star either. But if all of a sudden you needed an extra fifth inning guy because Schreiber's not getting it done or Estevez needs some time on the shelf to get his velocity up, I just think they have flexibility. That's all. I just think they have flexibility. As we wait for Nate Taylor, we'll get to the random question.
Yeah, we may have to punt on that for a bit. Connection maybe problems. Also busy there at the scouting combine. So.
If he calls us, we will put Nate on. Don't you have no fear. We'll get to the random question coming up in just a few minutes. I do want to point out something a different coach was saying, not a Chiefs coach, over at the combine. Ben Johnson, obviously the Chicago Bears head coach, had Eric Bieniemy on his staff as a running back coach last year. I don't think saying high praise is probably putting this kindly enough. He pretty much waxing poetic about Eric Bieniemy.
We'll miss a ton. The guy's a phenomenal football coach, and that coaching staff a year ago, and really similar to this year, is there were a lot of guys outside of my circle that I didn't know very well. So he was really through reputation. We had a lot of productive conversations before he decided to join on board, and then I was just blown away from the impact he had, not only in that position room, which Swift had probably the best year of his career, and then 7th rounder Monungai had a hell of a year himself. Not just that room, but the entire offense. He brings a demanding presence. The standard is the standard with Eric Bieniemy, and those are big shoes to fill.
The last part is what we know you're getting 100% with Eric Bieniemy. That's why he's back.
He holds everyone to a high standard. In the longer clip of that, he also talks about how good he was with the running backs. And more than anything, more than like a traditional offensive coordinator and the job of an offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy is here to fix the run game. Do I think they will automatically be better because they will have more talent at running back? Yeah, I do. But I also do anticipate that he is going to be a bigger part of how they try and should try to fix the game. I don't think that that's just Ben Johnson I don't think he's just doing that for the camera, if that makes sense. Sometimes you compliment people even though they're gone. He only had him there years, like barely knew the guy, based on reputation, brought him in. That guy holds people accountable. He makes sure that we are doing the things we need to do to be a winner. And it always goes back to the same thing. Eric Bieniemy's message works when you win. It really does. It's why I think it never worked in Washington.
Well, there was all the stories coming out from the DC media about players anonymously talking and how much they hated them, frankly, and this did not work. And I think you're right. There was a losing mindset with the Commanders. And when you're a player that's used to that, you think that when this guy's coming in and you're not built for it. And so it's much easier to have his mindset and style when you're winning, but also he still has a few pieces around Kelsey Mahomes and Chris Jones. Yep. I know Chris is on defense, but still he still has those guys that know, if you're a young wide receiver that they draft and Travis is still on this team or Mahomes, obviously is on the team.
We're trying to win the Super Bowl every year.
You're going to say they're going to make sure you listen to Eric Bieniemy as well. Like you're not going to. It's not just a bunch of guys that are going to not pay attention to Eric Bieniemy because one, you've got some pieces around that still remember what Rashee Rice is in for a rude awakening if he's even eligible to play this season. He's in for a rude awakening with Eric Bieniemy.
He probably doesn't realize exactly what. And O'Shea, who talks about we're going to be detailed and we're going to know what we're doing. Each step is going to matter in this thing. They went for people, and I don't know if maybe they just got. I do think, and maybe this is overblown, I think some wind came out of their sails when they didn't get the three-peat, and then some of that fire cooled a little, right? Some people who'd been motivated by this, we're playing for everything, we're playing for it all, got comfortable, fat and happy, right? That stuff happens. It's not an uncommon occurrence. And Eric Bieniemy's here to take that back away. But it's not going to be hard for everyone to get on board. This is a group of people that the only thing they know is winning championships. This is the attitude Kelsey's going to have and Mahomes going to have and Jones going to have. And now they're going to have a coach like Eric Bieniemy on the offensive side holding those same people accountable in a very similar way. I did think it said a lot that he talked about the run game because it's easy to just give Ben Johnson the credit for that. They had a great run game in Detroit. They had a great run game in Chicago. It would have been easy to give him credit. But I will say, the backs on paper going into it were much easier to coach in Detroit. Anybody can have a good running game in Detroit. They got great backs. In Chicago, they had to take some more unknown or less good at the time guys. Not like Monungai was some household name.
He was unknown. DeAndre Swift's had success in the league. In Detroit as well.
In Detroit, but is at least not the biggest name on the free agency market. And they got that to be one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL. Sure, some of it is Ben Johnson's scheme, but some of it is Eric Bieniemy's ability to coach them up. And he handled that group. And he'll handle this group going forward, obviously in Kansas City. And I think they'll just be better for it. I think if they had the same group, if they just ran back Pacheco and Hunt and Rashard Smith, they'd be better with Eric Bieniemy. The question is, how much more talented are they?
A lot of it's the scheme, though. We've talked a ton about the RPO stuff and the decision making that goes into that, and the success that they did or didn't have, and how often they went under center, and all that. All that stuff is as much as we can talk about being disciplined and holding running backs or everybody on the offense accountable and all that. There is still there's still the reality of the Chiefs' issues when they and how they went about running, I should say, in the scheme, and that's where Andy Reid is going to have to adapt. That's not even really Eric Bieniemy. That's where is Andy Reid willing to change his scheme and how they go about their run game. Brett Veach mentioned yesterday that look, we've got in the interior, we've got the guys, we've got what we need in the interior.
We're not looking for different offensive linemen to make this work.
Yeah,
that's accurate though, isn't it? They have an all-pro center and a Pro Bowl guard. And Kingsley did fine last year.
They were dead last. I think it was Sam McDowell that had a story on this actually today or yesterday in the KC Star. They were dead last in EPA on RPOs last year, bottom 5 in yards per carry, and yet they did it more than everybody else. So they just weren't good at it. No. So that's where you've got to.
So is it discipline? People in the wrong spots, or talent, or both?
The scheme itself of within that wasn't good. Your scheme of it wasn't good.
I think it's also hard when a season's slipping away the way the Chiefs did, and you're used to championship caliber. The play got worse as the year went on. When it felt like the season was slipping away, and the coaching got worse and the play got worse because everyone felt tight and pressure, and not in a fun playoff pressure way, right? Where winning this could get us to an AFC championship game or a Super Bowl. In the, oh dear God, are we actually going to be bad and have a top 10 overall pick? Are we that? It's a different kind of pressure. They're good at the playoff kind of pressure. But when it felt like a season was slipping away, everyone got worse.
Yeah, are you disciplined? Are you jumping off sides? You can't get fooled by it.
Yeah, got to make sure we get there.
Random Question.
Random question today brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. For you, Gold, you, Drew, text line 913-586-7965. We're over on the chats, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook, where we live stream the show. Like and subscribe over on Twitch or YouTube. Pop to the top of your feed. That way you know when we're going live. I'll try to interact with you over there as well. This is, we're back to classic me. Random question that only benefits me.
Oh, great.
And personal advice for me that I need help crowdsourcing from both you two and from the text line and YouTube chat. So here's a question and dilemma I have today. As I've told you, my son is very much into basketball. I believe this interest is going to continue based on its current hyper level of interest, but we'll see. So I had set kind of like a deadline of summer to try to figure out how can I get him more time playing, right? He'll join a league and that's fine. But really at home, all we can do is dribble. So we got him the smart basketball, but he wants to shoot because that's more fun, right? Makes sense. Do you think a kid would, so I guess here's the two. I could just get a hoop from my backyard.
You should.
There's a flat spot, but he's not really going to be able to dribble and shoot. It'd really just be up there to shoot.
Oh,
right?
There's no concrete
kind of
or anything.
It's a patio. It's cobblestone. You could dribble on it, but it's going to bounce every which way. Then there's the decks in the yard. It's really only going to be for shooting because my driveway's too steep. The road's a little too busy. Can't really put a basketball hoop out there. It won't work. Or I live at the bottom of a cul-de-sac, kind of a long cul-de-sac. At the top is a big, huge, flat circle. And there's a bunch of like retirees up there. No kids, just a bunch of like retirees at the top of the cul-de-sac. Do you think it would be worth knocking on 4 or 5 doors, asking if I can just put a basketball hoop up there, and then we could just walk up, 2 minutes to shoot and dribble and play up in the cul-de-sac? Or do I just put one in my backyard and we can just shoot there?
So, do you know any of these people? Do you know any of them?
One. They were the parents of a kid I knew in high school.
Like, are you like?
As in, like they remember my
Does
name,
everybody get a like? Is it a cul-de-sac or whatever where everybody knows each other and that kind of thing?
They probably only know each other up there. They've all lived together up there, I think, since the 80s.
Because that changes.
They do not know me. We are not tight or close. I know like maybe one person up there. And anytime I've taken them, like my kids and I at different ages have walked up the block or walked around or got outside, they always seem friendly or just straight up not outside in the time we're there. So
this is tough. Someone that's not a homeowner, I would say, if you don't know the people, it'd be very weird for you to be like, hey, by the way, can I put this basketball hoop right in front of your house? And my kid and his friends eventually are going to be dribbling basketballs in front of your house all the time. Do you want that?
All the time. Kids go to school and stuff,
There's a way that you can also put it like,
anybody can play in it. You got
in between
grandkids?
mailboxes, though. Like, I'm sure there's like a little yard patch where you're not blocking their driveway, right?
I wouldn't block anyone's driveway. There's plenty of space for it. And again, it's a big, huge, flat area. But Gold's right. I am essentially saying, can I come up here and make a bunch of noise in front of your house that I don't live in?
And you don't know them.
And
if
I don't
you
know
knew them, this is an easy thing.
But if I got everyone's permission within like I'd have to ask 6 different people. And I think I'd need unanimous support here. Do you think that, you're sounding like that's not worth the effort?
I'm thinking that it's a no, but it's the text line's mixed. Some people will agree.
No, I think
someone also says, Cody, just pour a concrete slab in the backyard. Stop being a tight ass.
I already don't have any grass. It's like 4 decks back there, and a small yard and a concrete patio. Where am I pouring this hypothetical concrete slab?
Take out one of the decks.
Then I just have
Take out one of the decks.
And that would have to be but then you'd be shooting over the fence and it'd be going into I'm just telling you right now, the backyard's not conducive for a concrete patio. I could put a basketball hoop there so we could just shoot.
Do you have an HOA? People are asking.
No HOA.
That helps you here.
I think it's worth it.
But I'm not going to wheel it up the street every time we want to play either. I want it permanently living up there, right?
Yeah, but like you said, if there's no kids up there, then it doesn't matter. Like it's not going to get used unless essentially
they may not want a basketball hoop in front of their house.
Someone says what's wrong with my driveway? Too steep.
I don't think you're wrong for asking. You simply
I just said I could ask.
Yeah, you asking is not a problem. If the worst I can say is no, and then you got to go to a park or you go to a.
What about a form?
An open gym.
What about like a form letter I put in the mailbox? Rather than knock on 6 doors and hoping.
I think that's worse. I think
random person sent us a letter to request permission.
Yeah.
That's worse.
Yes.
How's that worse?
You got to.
It comes across as you're too scared to at least go knock on the door and ask. I think you knocking on the door and asking, there's a greater chance of it resulting in you being able to put the basketball hoop there.
I just
and
think
pleasure.
this is why you should have had a better relationship with your neighbors, because then you could pull this off.
But there's the
That obviously would help too.
I think some of this it's hard, like every cul-de-sac's a little bit different. Our cul-de-sac is over 20 houses. It is the longest cul-de-sac of all time. It's 1 million houses on it. So I'm at the very bottom. I'm the last one there.
Yeah.
To go up all the way up there, just to what? Say what's up? I know my direct neighbor.
Oh, but now you want to now you're curious. Now you want to talk to him. That's
now
good
I
enough
need 'em.
because now that it works for you, yeah.
Cody, I
There's
think
a younger couple there who's always really nice. They probably but theirs is in the middle of the hill.
I think it's really simple. You go and you knock on the door and say, "Hey, my son's getting into basketball, and we don't have the space to be able to do that without the ball going into the street, and I don't know if I feel comfortable with that. Would it be okay if I put the goal up here? If you want me to be,
he's 7, I'll always be up here when he's shooting. I'm not gonna just let him walk up here and
if you tell him to, if there's a limit, hey, 7:00, you got to be done out of respect for their
I'm
quiet.
not letting him shoot
Fine.
at 7 right now anyway.
Yeah. If there's a time limit, fine. But I make it conducive for them because it's their space, obviously. But I would also, I don't think it's a problem.
I think this is a no.
To ask at least.
This is a no.
I think this is a no.
There's a pathway that goes into a city park by my house too, and there's a huge, big open piece of concrete there. Do you think the city would take it down if I just put a hoop up there for everybody to enjoy?
It's just a blank concrete slate that has
You
nothing.
can't just
there.
start installing stuff on other property.
This is like government property.
That would probably be a problem.
I wouldn't pour concrete. I'm just saying, what if I just put a portable goal up there? Do you think they take it away?
I legitimately think that it's not a problem to ask, and if one person says no out of the group, then it's a no.
Somebody texted in earlier, said, Cody, are they Canadian? If so, don't wear a USA men's hockey jersey to the door. Yeah, that would be an automatic no. I just think you can't do it. Unfortunately, can you do your driveway? I pulled in your driveway. Is it really? I thought it was flat once you're in it.
No.
No?
It's
Can
not.
you do the hoop on the side of the house kind of thing?
What do you mean? On the...
Just just the backboard kind of thing.
You'd be shooting 14 feet.
Or what?
It's just
lower.
But just based on the way the driveway's angled. Every time you try to go shoot a shot, you'd be shooting 14-foot jumpers.
Someone says, really showing your age today, fellas. What?
I don't think it's complicated for you to just go ask the 5 people, the 5 houses that surround the.
Someone says if you go, you should bring the kid. Because there's no way they're going to say no.
Now you're going to...
Drew, I drag my kid up there with me and be like, hey, can we put a basketball here? What person's telling me no? I'm getting an instant yes if I bring a kid in his basketball shoes, dribbling his ball up there, being like, can I please have a hoop? I win automatically.
I don't think these retired people are going to want a basketball hoop the front curb of their house, basically.
Yeah.
And basketball dribbling constantly.
Someone says go to the gym, which was what we have been doing. But I just thought we could play a lot more frequently and easier.
You can.
Just on the street.
I'll be totally honest.
Sure, it'd be easier. They're going to also say, man, after you knock on their door with your son, they might say yes, kind of, and they're gonna be talking to their other neighbors. They know, the ball's on that guy that lives at the corner down to the. Can you believe it? He brought his kids here and put me in a bed. They're not gonna like you.
Someone says, how about you bake them? Scoob over on Twitch says, how about you bake them each something? Maybe try to grease the wheels a little bit. Someone says they would prefer a letter because they don't like when random. I never answer the door. Please, Papa. I thought cul-de-sacs were supposed to have a camaraderie.
You just told me you don't talk to them.
You
don't talk to them.
So
we're supposed to be a team together. You grew up in a cul-de-sac.
I did.
Said you're all tight. Everyone just shooting hoops together.
We were as kids, yeah.
What are you saying, Drew?
My parents were cool with the neighbors direct. They didn't hang out with them, but they knew them. I lived in a cul-de-sac as well, and we had a basketball hoop that we would drag from the driveway down into the actual street, and it was never a problem. I shot baskets at 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night, and it was never a problem. I legitimately don't think.
Well, they didn't say anything to you. They never said anything to you.
They might have hated you, but
I'll be honest.
Usually you don't say anything to me. I don't care.
I was never one time asked by my parents either to stop shooting baskets whenever I wanted to. It was never a problem. So I don't, unless society's changed in the last
you're nothing.
In fairness,
15 to 20 years, then
nothing in society has changed in 15 to 20 years.
From that aspect,
nothing. Everything's the same. No issue at all.
Here's one issue. One of the people could be the person who told me to trim my tree. As you remember, there was a letter in my mailbox complaining of the overhanging branches of one of my trees, Drew. So that it could be one of the people at the top of the cul-de-sac. We don't know. Again, there's like 23 houses or something on the cul-de-sac.
People are joining us mid-conversation because someone said, I don't care, a lot of it's your house, not theirs. The issue is Cody's not putting the hoop. The issue is not, can Cody have a basketball hoop? Of course he could. The issue is Cody wants to put a basketball hoop in front of someone else's house. That's the problem.
It's a different issue. If it was just in front of my house, I'm not even asking this question. I'll just put up the hoop. It is what it is.
I don't think it's a bad thing to ask.
My house is not good for it in any conceivable way, and I just want to know, could I put up one at the top of the cul-de-sac so everyone could enjoy it, you know? That's all. And there is no HOA. People are saying that.
That's the random question of the day. Well, good luck.
Yeah.
Someone said start with, you might have heard me on the radio. I would recommend not doing that.
I'm going to do all of it together. I'm going to write them a letter. I'm going to knock on their door. I'm going to bake them a baked good. And then I'm going to say, do you know who I am? And hope that they let me put up a hoop at the top of the cul-de-sac.
All right, up next, we'll still try to see if we connect with Nate Taylor. I think he's dealing with some cell phone issues maybe in Indianapolis. So we'll see if we can connect with him. If not, we'll talk more about the Vikings and what they're exploring. And we're expected to be joined by Mike Palm from Circa to talk about something pretty cool they got going on heading into the month of March.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
We're going to try to tickle your tonsils.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Prostate cancer. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed in their lifetime, but early detection can save lives. That's where KCUC comes in. They're the premier center for urology and oncology, with over 50 elite providers and more than 20 locations across the metro. KCUC makes it easy to get screened fast in the comfort of an office, not a hospital. Schedule your screening today at kcuc.com. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. kcuc.com. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. 'Cause Birdie told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust in Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
When the cold weather takes over KC, AB May is the trusted name for keeping your home warm. From furnace repairs to system replacements, we're always happy to help. Right now, we're offering 0% interest for 72 months on select heating and cooling systems. Trusted by generations of KC homeowners, AB May is committed to doing things the right way every time. Call 913-732-9993 or visit abmay.com.
Call your serviceman from AB May.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for. We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast!
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Wendy's has a new Girl Scout Thin Mints Frosty Fusion with Girl Scout Thin Mints cookie pieces, rich creamy frosty, and a mint chocolate cookie sauce. Which means Girl Scout Thin Mints and Wendy's Frosty, yeah, they're basically best friends now. It's like two delicious desserts just high-fived, snapped a few too many friendship selfies, and then rode a tandem bike down a never-ending road of mint chocolate frosty perfection. So, swing by Wendy's and try the new Thin Mints Frosty Fusion.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Beyond the Pitch KC, a new podcast hosted by Scott Parks and Rob Brenton, telling the stories behind the World Cup in Kansas City. Starts Wednesday, March 4th on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
One o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. We'll try to connect maybe on Friday with Nate Taylor. I think you guys will try to have him on. Then had some stuff come up there in Indianapolis, unfortunately, at the Combine. So hopefully we'll hear from Nate later on in the week. Coming up in about 15 minutes or so, we'll talk with Mike Palm, our friend over at Circus Sports. Check in on where things are headed for the month of March with a busy basketball month and something really cool that they're doing. Also, while we have him on, we got to ask him about Missouri and KU and some of the betting odds that are out there to win a national title, to maybe get to a Final Four over at Circa.
Yeah, a little of obviously they've got a couple of good things going on, but also it is pretty much sports wagering mecca coming up for a lot of people. March Madness.
I'm due for another trip to Vegas. I'm due. It's been since August. It's been 6+
so
months.
Long.
It's been 6 months.
You and I together have been to Vegas now 4 times? 5? How many times have we been to Vegas?
Oh, just like you and I both on the same trip?
Yes.
Yeah, probably 4
The
times.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Chiefs, what was it? Chiefs Raiders, obviously. Duh.
And then
Chiefs,
two of
Raiders
the
game.
August
And then 2 of the August ones.
contest weekends.
We've been to Las Vegas 4 times together. I will say, you and I both like to gamble on stuff or this or that. We're bad at gambling together. Even like card break, right? We're not good. We're fine. We do okay at gambling when we are away from each other. We are not good at gambling as a unit. We're much worse. I don't know what it is. We're bad.
Yeah,
luck
so
for each
don't
other.
come to Vegas with me, please. Thank you.
If you go sometime in the next few months,
I
fine.
don't have any. I have no plans to go there right now.
If you go back in August, we're gonna have to turn our luck around eventually. Although, you know what? I take it back. We have done okay sports wagering in Vegas together.
Just not at the tables.
Just not at the tables.
Not at
Tables
the
have been bad luck for us.
Yeah, that's true. Drew had a good run playing some roulette when we were there last with him.
The one, you know what? Actually, when the 3 times Drew won some roulette, and when the 3 of us went, when we were doing our who can win the most with $100 in 30
That's
minutes.
what I'm saying. That's when he did
I did
well.
okay at blackjack.
Yes,
I won money at blackjack.
That was the Red 13 for Taylor Swift. That was the.
Someone said Metallica's playing at the Sphere in October. You should go then. The Sphere is still on my list of venues to go to.
Can't believe
Although
I haven't been.
did you see that real quick? Pacquiao and Mayweather just announced 47-year-old Pacquiao is going to fight Mayweather at the Sphere on Netflix.
I'll be honest.
Which
I'm not
is
really interested in
just-
watching 2 senior citizens try to box each other.
Wait, 47's a senior citizen?
That pretty
In the
much
boxing
me.
world, it is.
But yeah, by boxing standards, it is. The hell,
Sounds like boxing's just desperate for
They
star
were-
names, so they're just recycling the same.
But these aren't
people.
even like this
they
is
were
just
5 years late on that fight the first time 15 years ago.
Yeah. No, that's totally true.
I will always respect Floyd Mayweather less as a boxer. It's like, I'm an all-time great. I know he's undefeated and all this stuff because he dodged that fight. That was the fight he should have been taking at the time and could have lost at the time if he had taken it. And he ducked it. He ducked it because he thought he might lose to Pacquiao, and he waited till Pacquiao was significantly older and significantly slower to take the fight. Now what? Because of a $5 million or whatever they'll pay him, probably $50 million or $100
Oh, I was saying way more than $5 million. It's going to be
because his $50 million payday is going to
This
go
isn't
fight
one of those charity fights either,
47-year-old
like, right?
Pacquiao.
Like,
No,
this
it's
is
a real,
this is an actual boxing match.
It is. Now it's all part of a series of fights. So this one will take place September 19th at the Sphere, but in April it's going to be Pacquiao against, I don't know how to pronounce it, Ruslan Pravdanovic or something. I don't know. And then
I don't know boxing. So.
Yeah, and then Mayweather is going to fight against Mike Tyson. You guys know that, but those are the first 2 fights part of this Netflix. Basically, Netflix is just throwing a ton of money at it. Netflix is king when it comes to this. It's going to all be live on Netflix, and that's how they're doing it. The first fight between the duo all the way back in 2015, at that point in time, ticket sales were 72 million, 4.6 million U.S. pay-per-view buys. This won't require pay-per-view. This will just be on Netflix, but I'm sure it's going to be an insane number.
Who are the people watching these?
I mean,
like I'll just watch I'll watch reruns of shows I liked from.
I'll be honest. I can sit here and tell you I'm not going to. I bet you if depending on what's going on that weekend, there'll be college football on as well. But I'll probably flip over for a few minutes. Yeah.
I'm just not interested. Are there any?
I would go if someone gave me free tickets.
Just out of
I would go to
curiosity,
the Sphere to see it. That'd be kind of cool.
Did they cancel boxing and no one under the age of 45 is still boxing? They just got rid of the sport? Or there's still boxers who are like 25 and good at boxing?
Well, what you're referencing is what Drew said, which is a lot of the, like, you're thinking of like the Logan Paul stuff. Like that to me, like, it's boxing, but that's not even like that's not in the same world of, you know, going back when it was actually like Spence versus Crawford and it was like legitimate like title
Manny
fights.
Pacquiao and some of these other ones.
Yeah.
And what was the
Thurman
one
and Pacquiao?
Who was the heavyweight who said he lost the bout because his legs were tired from wearing that like whole suit of armor or whatever, all that like heavy stuff with Tyson?
Not Anthony Joshua.
I don't remember. You know what I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about. He fought Tyson Fury, right? Isn't that the match? Like Tyson Fury beat gosh, what was his name?
Floyd Mayweather is 49, Pacquiao's 47. So that's coming up in September, man. Someone said we should go to Vegas for that. I mean, if I got free tickets, I would consider it. No, text line, I have not. Someone asking, have I met with the tour guide in Vegas lately? Nope, have not talked to her
Just
since.
that one time.
Have not communicated since.
No? Not even a text?
No. She's looked at my Instagram story a few times. That's about it. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we're
Still following
it was what it was. You know?
Check the Instagram story, though, just to see.
Yeah, but it was what it was at the time, you know?
She did not message you the last time we were in Vegas saying, hey,
Correct,
we're in Vegas.
yeah. Nor should she.
Was that?
Dang.
Well, no, but like, I mean, yeah, it was what it was.
Deontay Wilder. That was who it was.
Deontay Wilder.
Thank you, text line. Thank
He
you.
went on that whole thing and he's like, my legs are tired after.
I've seen him box in person.
Thank you, text line.
I have a photo next to him from like 8 years ago, and I've looked just tiny as hell.
Yeah, a big human being. That's not surprising to me. We'll talk to Mike Palm coming up in a few about Vegas.
Yeah, we'll ask him maybe about that. Is he excited for that too?
I got to say, I saw the same thing you did. All the GMs are talking, all the coaches are talking out there at the combine. And yeah, it is of note that the Vikings have openly admitted that they will be, quote, exploring all options or all possibilities, to improve their quarterback play, their vice president of football operations. Remember, they just fired their GM. Guess what? No one owes anything to J.J. McCarthy. I actually think it would be surprising at this point if J.J. McCarthy was the starter week one. I'd be more surprised if it was him than anybody else available in the market. A drafted quarterback, a free agent like Kirk Cousins. I don't think they want anything to do with J.J. McCarthy. I think they didn't want anything to do with him last year. I think Kevin O'Connell knew he stunk, and they just didn't feel like they could eject on a player before he played a snap for them. And so they felt like they had to start him. They tried. It was awful. He got hurt. GM got fired, and they get to clean house now. That's how I feel about it. I think J.J. McCarthy might not even be a Viking by August 1st.
I think at minimum it's a quarterback competition in training camp. There's no scenario where that's not the bare minimum that happens for McCarthy. There's a chance that it's not even a competition depending on who they bring in. I told you, given the relationship with Kevin O'Connell, I would think Kirk Cousins should be very high on the list of who they consider to go after. Unless Kevin O'Connell watched Malik Willis play for Green Bay and he's like, no, I think there's something really special there.
Long-term there,
and long-term, and then you look in that path. I think as we discussed with Aaron Rodgers earlier, Rodgers reportedly is going to make a decision whether he's coming back to the NFL mid-March. Everybody assumes he's going to Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh, it probably is their best option, unfortunately. But if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'd be interested in Minnesota. I just don't know if Minnesota's interested in him. If they can get Kirk Cousins, wouldn't you just bring back the guy that's already played for Kevin O'Connell in that system and already knows Justin Jefferson and already just knows the whole, obviously knows the city and everything too?
Yeah. I think Kirk
Unless
Cousins,
there's a Kyler Murray trade that you think that do they like Kyler Murray enough to give up draft assets and have the money on the books?
For selfish reasons, because I think Andy Reid might be done coaching in 3 years. I hope Kevin O'Connell goes for a Kyler Murray, it flames out, and then he's available.
But if he flames out like that, people will be like, is he? I don't know.
They won't be as high on Kevin O'Connell as a coach. I will still be. I think he's being held back by quarterback play, but fine. Because he got so much as just Sam Darnold, and he had him to 14 wins. Mm-hmm. When he had Kirk Cousins, they were a viable NFL franchise competing for stuff. I understand he hasn't had the playoff success. That would be maybe the one big knock I have on O'Connell right now is he has not had a lot of playoff success. Mike McDonald was able to get Sam Darnold to play well in the postseason, even if Kevin O'Connell couldn't. And so
I think he's 0-2 as a head coach in the playoffs.
So like he hasn't had much playoff success. Overall, he's had some. What is the benefit? And this is always the stuck part. Does he really think there's something with Malik Willis or Kyler Williams? The report today
Kyler Murray,
Kyler Murray. The report today on Malik Willis is that he has such heavy interest in the NFL that Jordan Schultz said the anticipation is that the number will be greater than $30 million per year for Malik Willis.
But that's where we're at with the quarterbacks.
Oh,
so I know it sounds nuts, and it is.
That's the mid-tier market. That's middle of the road market.
I mean, we could go through and look at the highest paid, quarterbacks in the NFL. I think we'd all be very surprised to see
how much they make.
Yeah, I mean, even not even the top end guys.
Well, then shouldn't that? I guess from that metric, then maybe Kyler Murray's not the worst choice. His cap hit's not going to be way more than to trade for him. Let me rephrase. To trade for him, he's not going to be way more than $30 million. He's got a $52 million cap hit, according to a report last week. The acquiring team would be on the hook for less than half of that. So you could have Kyler Murray $25 million a year, or $30 million a year, or Malik Willis at $30 million a year. I'll say this. I've seen Kyler Murray put up some numbers before.
These are the other quarterbacks right now making, this is annual average salary, in the 30s. Geno Smith made $37.5 million last year.
Crazy.
So it's not in, if we talk about Sam Darnold, it looks like a steal now, but $33.3 million.
Yeah, it is a steal.
Baker Mayfield, $33.3 million. Justin Fields made $20 million on average.
Just the middle class.
Mahomes was 45, Cousins was 45, Deshaun Watson was 46. Kyler Murray made 46.1 on average, or does, not necessarily last year. Jalen Hurts 51. I'm just saying Malik Willis getting 35 30 sounds nuts, but if you're a starting quarterback and you're not a rookie, that's kind of where you're at. I mean, Daniel Jones made $14 million last year. He's going to make way more than that. He's probably going to make $30+ million a year now on a new deal, even with the Colts. Probably. He just is. Russell Wilson was making $10.5 million. Cam Ward's a rookie contract, doesn't really count for this exercise. Bryce Young, same thing.
No, look, I understand $30 million is the going rate, but I also have to understand that it's still big swing or miss, but it's a much bigger swing and miss if you get it right, it's always a great price, right? The middle-class quarterback market, the reason why Baker Mayfield's been such a great price for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who took a chance on him, or Daniel Jones, even at his rate, and Sam Darnold, are good prices. But if you Geno Smith it, and you pay Malik Willis $30 million that you can't get out of, it sucks. There is no, and I get it, there's no quarterback way cheaper than that. Not that it's going to be any good. Not unless you're just trying to start some, like Kirk Cousins might come in less than 30, but will he? He might come in at 20, 25 too. It's not like those guys are going to get small checks if there are 5 teams looking for quarterback and only one worth drafting. And not worth drafting, but worth drafting and starting right away. There are probably, I think when it all settles down, there'll be 2, maybe 3 first-round quarterbacks. And there'll probably be 5 taken in the first 3 or 4 rounds. But for the most part, the guys who people think you're going to draft and immediately start is 1, Fernando Mendoza. Nobody else thinks that you're starting Ty Simpson right away, barring injury, or Aller, or I guess Chambliss won his.
He's going to staying at Ole Miss. Yeah.
So he gets to stay at Ole Miss. Otherwise, he'd be in this conversation too. What are the current power rankings for NFL drafted quarterbacks?
The Georgia Tech quarterback,
Haynes King.
Yeah,
is third.
No, we're just we're just naming quarterbacks. Yeah. He'll be in that middle
Haynes King,
ground.
Drew Aller, Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier.
What's crazy? Nussmeier a year and a half ago or so, people thought was going to be the first quarterback taken.
I think he could still get taken in the second or third round, depending on how he does at the combine.
According to ESPN, they had it Mendoza, Simpson. They had Chambliss, but of course he's now out of it. Nussmeier, Beck, Aller, and then Klubnik at 8, and then a bunch of other people you're not going to worry about. Like, I don't know, the guy at North Dakota State, Cole Payton.
Apparently he is like a second or third round grade, according to some GMs. Like, he actually is. He could be a interesting.
I really like, there's some part of me that is just, it's stupid, but I really like when the person's name fits where they do for a job or where they go to school. Cole Payton is a great North Dakota State quarterback name. That's not a great Alabama quarterback name or Kansas Jayhawk quarterback. That is a great North Dakota State football name. Cole Payton playing in North Dakota State just feels right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just feels right. It's a good fit. I don't even think Ty Simpson's a good fit. That doesn't sound like an Alabama quarterback. What does it feel like?
Someone said every option you guys are laying out for the Vikings, given the worst quarterback in the division. Why would they sign up for that? What's the alternative, though, man? JJ McCarthy? Like,
Kevin O'Connell's not going to try to lose next year. They've got
the alternative.
Addison and Jefferson and a good defense in Flores. They actually have to try to win.
Yeah, if they draft somebody, it's going to be the worst situation. If they sign somebody, it'll be
There's no way they're going to have a better quarterback than
Jordan
the Bears
Love,
have, or what
Caleb
the Packers
Williams,
have, or what the Lions have. I mean, it is what it is. There is nobody they can go acquire
Other
that's
than
going to
draft a guy and they end up finding a
sure.
It's the same thing as the Raiders.
But heading
Honestly,
into the
Raiders
season,
could get Mendoza, worst quarterback. They could even trade for Kyler Murray, worst quarterback in the division, probably.
Right.
Some would argue. I think it's still it's a similar concept. The quarterbacks are just too good in that division.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of a quarterback they could get other than convincing Cincinnati to trade Joe Burrow. I can't. I can't think of a
beyond that. Yes.
Yeah, a
Lamar Jackson.
A realistic way to get there. In fairness, Lamar, we got to at least entertain the possibility of a trade there, only because he is owed a lot of money and they got to get an extension workout. I assume they will extend him and this won't be a problem. But because he's owed an extension and they will not go into the year paying him the amount of money he's owed, I got to at least put a 5% chance, don't I, that Lamar could be on the move hypothetically because they got to actually work out the deal. That's all. I'm not here
trading Lamar to the Vikings would be such a mistake.
Huge.
I mean, it would be
huge.
A great gift for Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings if that was the case. All right, let's head to the phones and welcome in a friend of the show. We've had Mike on multiple times, whether it's this show or out in person in Vegas or on the betting show as well. Mike Palm from Circus Sports joining us now on Cody and Gold. Mike, good to have you back on. I guess we last talked to you right when you guys were launching in the state of Missouri. How things been going the first couple months?
No, not too bad. Steadily trying to get some brand awareness there. Obviously, not as high profile as some of the other national brands. So doing some grassroots things there and have traveled and done events in Kansas City with the Royals and in St. Louis with the Blues, and just trying to keep getting folks on the app and hope that they have a great experience.
So you guys are always, as always, trying to give away Derek's money. So how is that, I guess when you start talking about getting those grassroots things, how much do you like doing stuff with that?
I enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy traveling. I enjoy getting to, know folks in the different places that we're operating in, and making those connections. And certainly with the Kansas City Royals and the Blues, it's been terrific as well. And so I do enjoy doing that. That's one of the great parts of the job that I have. And of course, the relationships with all the media members from the different locations as well.
The Olympics just wrapped up. We all know about USA men's hockey getting the gold medal. What was that like from a sportsbook perspective, in terms of betting activity? And then also, I know even out in Vegas at Circa, you guys had some pretty cool stuff going on.
Yeah, the hockey was really the only thing that moved the needle from a betting perspective in the Olympics. Like 97% of our handle was on hockey, so that was terrific. And then, you couldn't script the knockout rounds going any better to have Canada versus USA in both gold medal matches, the women and the men. I know folks complained about, it was a 5:10 a.m. puck drop out here Sunday for the men's match, but I mean, it's 2:10 in Italy and they're doing the closing ceremonies at 5. I mean, what choice did they have? They were wrapping up the Olympics at that point. So it was amazing. We probably had close to 300 or 400 people in the book at 5 o'clock for the game. And then we opened up Bar Canada as well. And we're standing room only at Bar Canada with a heavily Canadian leaning influence over there.
Can't say that's surprising. Alex he's going to Canada tomorrow. He wanted to wear a USA men's hockey jersey to a Canadians game. Would you advise against that?
So I'll give you my personal experience. We also had a Keno slot tournament here over the weekend, and I came in Sunday morning at 9 a.m. So the game had just wrapped up about a half hour earlier to give out the Keno awards, and probably a third of our Keno players are Canadian. So out of the 45 people that were there for the awards, 15 or 16 were Canadian, and I opened the ceremony by saying, we want to congratulate Canada on silver. It was a good effort by the Canadian boys, but as we all know, hockey is America's game. And a woman threw an ashtray at me. I didn't expect that. We as Americans cannot understand how heartbreaking this is for them, and they have to wait 4 years till the next Olympics to try to avenge it.
They make it seem like they haven't had a gold recently. They've had several recently.
Yeah.
Wow, the astronaut. Now you got me thinking, Mike. You got me thinking. What else have people thrown at you over the years at a casino?
That was probably the heaviest thing. I mean, people have thrown drinks in my face. That certainly has happened. People have thrown chips at me, but this was the only one that probably could have been fatal.
Yeah, no kidding. That's no joke. We're talking to Mike Palm from Circa Sports, of course, Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas, but the Circa Sports app available in Missouri. You guys got something cool coming up, though, Mike. I know that you guys are excited about starting next week.
Yeah, it's actually started. We started it early because Derek and crew were in St. Louis for an event with the Blues on Monday, so we kicked it off early. So it actually started on Monday, and it's going to go now 3 weeks until all the way through Selection Sunday, called Win Derek's Wallet. So everyone in Missouri gets a chance to get a share of Derek's wallet, and for the purposes of this promotion, the wallet is $250,000. If you wager $100 up to $999 during these 3 weeks until the 15th of March, you earn one share of Derek's wallet. If you wager between $1,000 and $49.99 during these 3 weeks, you win 2 shares. And if you wager $5,000 or more, you win 3 shares. So a person can win up to 3 shares. And then at the end of the day, we'll count up all the shares, and within 24 hours, folks are going to be credited into your account however many shares you won. We did this in Iowa in December over an 11-day period, a little bit different, with a $100,000 wallet. We didn't have that third tier for the $5,000. You could only earn 2 shares. And folks, it was like 490 shares were earned. So they were worth like $212 each, those shares. Now, obviously, if it's longer here in Missouri and you have a third share available, but we don't know. I mean, a share could be worth $1,000. A share could be worth $100. You don't know till the end, but certainly it's an incentive to play with Circa over the next 3 weeks.
Who do you like, I guess, on the betting in from the title odds? Obviously, in Kansas City, Alex and I were saying 25-1 at Kansas. If you're going to bet a long shot in the tournament, there's certainly worse teams to take a chance on. You got an early feeling of who you like in the tourney?
Well, I think this Florida team has, they had a really rough November and December, but I just jumped in on them last week at 19-1. I mean, they're still really elite around the rim, and their guard play is elite as well. May not be quite as good as it was last year, and they have the pedigree and the experience. So from that perspective, I think you still find them around 14 or 15-1. Kansas is interesting. I don't think Houston can win it. I just don't think Houston. I don't think their defense is as good as it was, and I don't think this is as good a team as last year when they probably should have won it. I spread out early in the year, so I started the season with Duke, Michigan State. I chose the wrong school there. I should have taken Michigan, I guess, and Houston. I don't love my Houston ticket. I added Arizona at 19-1 when they beat UConn. So I think I'm pretty well covered. Maybe I have to add Michigan, but I'll probably wait till we get into the tournament just to cover myself there. I probably think that the most likely teams to win it are I would tell you my top 4 are Arizona, Duke, Michigan, and Florida.
Yeah, hard to argue with those. Here, the conversation's all about Darren Peterson, who could be the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft, and the lack of minutes that he's been playing and what's really going on there, and how, hey, in March, is he going to pull himself out of a game? How do you think that could impact just the odds market on a team like Kansas, where you don't know for sure if somebody like Darren Peterson is going to give you 35 minutes or he's going to play 18 minutes and sit out a second half?
I have to be honest with you. In watching them play, I'm not sure that they're that worse without him on the floor. For me, it's a question of, in this market of number 1 draft pick, how much does this factor into the NBA GM's mind about his reliability? Although, in the NBA, it's all about load management. So it's not like you're asking a guy to go out there and play 74 games a year. So I don't know. I guess if Kansas could get every tournament game played on a Monday night, they would win the title for sure.
Yeah, especially if it's at Allen Fieldhouse, where Bill Self is 41-0. One more time, Mike, for people listening, hopefully they've already downloaded the Circa Sports app, but one more time, tell us what the contest is going on right now with you guys.
Yeah, for all people betting on our Circa Sports app. You don't have to be a new customer. This is for those that have had the app as well. And if you don't, you can go to your app store and download it. It's pretty simple. Remote registration, remote funding over the next 3 weeks through March 15th. If you wager $100 or more, you're going to win 1 share of Derek's wallet. That's $250,000. $1,000 or more, you win 2 shares. And if you wager $5,000 or more, 3 shares. So it can't be one person gets 100 shares because they're a huge bettor. So it's pretty fair. At the end of March 15th, we'll add up all the shares. We'll announce what each share is worth, and then within 24 hours, those monies will be downloaded into your account.
Awesome stuff, Mike. Good to check in with you. We appreciate it as always, and I'm sure we'll talk a little around the tournament.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I always appreciate the time.
There you go. Mike Palm from Circa Sports, Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. Pretty cool contest they got going on. For those that are of you in Missouri that are using the Circa Sports app or want to try to use it, and get yourself a chance maybe to win a little share of Derek's wallet, $250,000.
If you're a sports fan and you're going to Vegas, Circa's a spot.
Yeah, we love this place out there.
And I know that's like we're spoiled because we keep going back to Circa. I also just like the Fremont area because I'm older and I don't want to.
Drew liked the scenery on Fremont too when we were out there. We were just chilling, having dinner, looking on the balcony.
Do you realize that woman's boobs are out?
That's crazy.
Guys, do you see that? You guys see that over there?
I did. I saw something on Twitter popped up the other day. Somebody was, I think it looked like Fremont at least, but they had a sign that said "Tip me if your girlfriend's hot." So he like rigged the system here where these couples are walking by and this woman's like, "Are you not going to tip this person some money because I don't look good?" He rigged the system a little bit that way.
I wonder how much money somebody would make if they were on Fremont, they were just sitting there, and then they just said, "Pay me $5 and I'll get you to jump off sides." Do you think you'd make some money if you just had to do cadence all day?
All I did was just quarterback cadence for you. Sure, full uniform.
Up next, we'll get to what's trending. Talk more about the Missouri Tigers who got a big win against Tennessee. And nothing gets you a bit more excited for baseball season than hearing a Jack Kagleon home run.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
When you choose CertaPro Painters, you're not just hiring a service, you're partnering with a trusted local professional with over 70,000 five-star reviews to make your house feel like home. And that's exactly why we chose CertaPro Painting for all of our painting needs and why our friends and family have done the same. Each CertaPro painter is independently owned and operated right here in Kansas City. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
27th through March 1st at the Overland Park Convention Center. Grab front door bonus golf while it lasts. Enjoy the Vital Stretch Zone. Saturday's women's events and test big brands with Golf MD at the Golf Show February 27th through March 1st. All at the OP Convention Center. Thanks to Genesis of Kansas City, Orange Whip, RMI Golf Carts, Arnold Palmer Spiked, Yingling Flight, Hereford House, Alabama Golf Trail, Edward Jones, and Tito's Vodka. Special tickets at kansascitygolfshow.com.
Presenting a Gain Flings love story. Dear love of my life. We were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Couple new items on what's trending, because we'll talk about Missouri in a second. As soon as we're done here, we'll get to the Missouri Tigers win. Just a few things of note in the sports world. The Pittsburgh Penguins have announced that Sidney Crosby is out at least 4 weeks after being injured during the Olympics. Remember, he did not play for Team Canada in the semis or the gold medal match against the United States. So big blow for the Pittsburgh Penguins as they get set for the start of the second half of the hockey season. They've been on Olympic break. Games start up tonight and tomorrow.
Next up on What's Trending, the Dallas Cowboys and their team is working on a deal with Brandon Aubrey as they try to get a long-term extension done with him. Differences, though? Hey, the Cowboys have reportedly offered Aubrey more than the league-high $6.4 million average that Harrison Butker is currently paid as NFL's highest-paid kicker. However, reports are that Brandon Aubrey's been asking for $10 million from the Cowboys a year to get a new deal done with them. He is set to become an unrestricted free agent. Unlikely they would place a franchise tag on him, they think, although they could. The restricted tender would be $5.8 million in the second round tender. So they could do that if they wanted to, but they're still trying to get a deal done. He's asking for $10 million per year. He's the best kicker in football.
Mm-hmm.
But, that can change quick. When Harrison Butker got paid, he was the best kicker in football, too, and he's not now. So he's probably like the 12th best kicker in football.
College basketball tonight, Kansas State at Colorado. You can hear that game here on 96.5 The Fan.
Yeah, we'll see whether or
I
not.
believe that's an 8 o'clock tip-off, I think.
I don't know. K-State, Colorado. Woo.
You locked into that? You locked into that showdown tonight?
You got to really love the Wildcats to be catching that one, or the Buffaloes. Next up on What's Trending, the belief around the league is that Aaron Rodgers will make a quicker decision this year about whether or not to return for his 22nd NFL season. Hopefully, the idea being by mid-March, he would come to that decision per the Steelers. They pretty much are begging him to come back. Omar Khan was talking about they know the relationship. I think when you bring in McCarthy, you're thinking veteran guy. My guess is that Aaron Rodgers is going to come back for one more season with the Steelers. He's having a hard time walking away. Even though going to the Steelers, you got like 1% chance to win a Super Bowl, in my opinion. Like, not zero, fine, but it's low. Unless you're going to all of a sudden turn the rest of the roster around because they've got problems in other areas.
Sticking with the NFL, the Jags and the Commanders announced that they will be the host teams for the NFL's 3 London games. The Jags will play 2 of them, of course, and the Commanders will play the other. We don't know who their opponents are. The Chiefs do not have the Jags or the Commanders on their schedule next year, so it will not be the Chiefs in those particular matchups.
Lastly, on What's Trending, the Savannah Bananas are expanding their deal with ESPN. Will now air 25 games across its platforms in 2026. Of course, they are coming back to Kansas City this summer, including the Bananas ABC debut, so like big ABC, not even ESPN. ESPN platforms aired 10 games last year, 502,000 viewers per game on average.
That is what's trending.
We now have found out Alex ordered the U.S. men's hockey or the U.S. hockey jersey.
It's just it's USA hockey hoodie.
But yeah.
Hoodie.
To wear to the Canadiens game that you're going to tomorrow night in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the blizzard in the Northeast, shipping delays mean it's not going to get to you unless somebody on the text line can help Alex out for a size large. 913-586-7965. Help him out to borrow one for his trip.
Paid for express shipping and everything to get it here in time.
Do you feel better that it's not getting to you now that Mike Palm said someone threw an ashtray at his head at the casino because he made a silver medal joke at a group of Canadians in Las Vegas?
No, because here's the difference. Number one, Mike's scenario, it was just a half hour after Canada had lost the U.S. Fresh wound. I mean, it had just happened. Those people have been up early. Maybe they were up all night because the match started, the game started at 5 a.m. They might have been up all night drinking. So they were heavily lubricated at that point in time.
Yep.
And then the other part, I would say, is that Mike Palm admitted he made a little joke. He twisted the knife a little bit. I'm going there.
I think wearing the jersey is twisting the knife a little bit.
But not verbally. You know, there's difference just wearing a shirt that says USA on it and not trying to heckle the other 20,000 Montreal Canadian fans that are there.
I'll be totally honest.
I'm just upset that I don't have the hoodie. I paid extra for shipping and everything. I'm returning the whole thing.
Blizzards
If I was
man.
a Canadian, though, I would look at that as, this guy thinks he's funny. You know,
funny guy, huh?
Yeah.
Putting on his U.S. hockey jersey.
I can't rep my country that happened to beat your country in hockey days earlier for a gold medal.
What do you think it'd be
in the
worse?
sport that you claim?
Oh man, yeah, I know, man. But
you say that, and
I think you're inviting a little trouble. What I'm saying is that I think you're inviting a little bit. I think you're inviting a little bit of trouble.
But now I don't have it, so now I'm just gonna have to wear a neutral clothing item. Because I even looked locally, there's nowhere that sells a USA hockey shirt or jersey or hoodie or anything.
I guess here's the question. Do you think it's worse for him to wear that this week or like a Maple Leafs jersey? Because they hate each other.
Well, that might be worse.
Do you think a Maple Leafs jersey would be worse?
Yeah, I think there's a chance I wear a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey. That would also
and they're
make
not even playing in the game because the island. I know, you're just
no sense to wear that. At least the USA hockey one, it makes sense to wear it.
Does it?
Yes, I'm at a hockey game.
Are
There's
there any U.S. men's players on the two teams?
No, but there are Americans on both the Montreal Canadiens and the Islanders.
That's tough. I kind of agree.
Dear
with
Canada, you.
I think there is a part of you're inviting trouble with it. You know?
I'm not now,
but now you're not.
Unless
Jersey
I
didn't come.
magically get my hands on a USA hockey hoodie or jersey.
Unless there's some hero on the text line who can loan Alex a large.
Instead, it's going to show up tomorrow at noon. Already be in Canada.
What time's your flight land?
Yeah. Well, I leave here at 8, and then I got a connection in Chicago. So, I technically don't land by noon, but I'm gone. I will be in Chicago.
What's the time zone for Montreal? Eastern?
Eastern.
Okay. Makes sense based on where it's located. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, Eastern time zone. So I think I officially land at 2:00 Eastern time in Montreal tomorrow.
From the 620, they say the Rally House in Oak Park Mall had USA hockey gear on Saturday.
I know.
Don't know how much left.
I'll look, and I went on the app this morning to see, and it didn't really have anything. So, because I did at one point, they had a long sleeve white like USA hockey. I was like, I'll just wear that. I'll just wear a long sleeve shirt. How about that? I would wear that. And that's not even as like
You
that.
might as well go to the mall and check. Quick driving the way home. See what you
can.
got. It's not way out of the way. It's not too crazy. Somebody says, was it Dusty last year that spelled Eagles during Super Bowl week because there was an Eagles guest on? Yes.
Yeah.
We mocked him on this show.
Mm-hmm.
They also did not say, they don't think my quarterback cadence is very good.
Who?
They mocked it. Dusty and Bob don't think my quarterback cadence is very good.
I thought it was pretty good.
That's what it's like.
But
That's what it sounds
But when
like.
quarterbacks do it, does it sound way different than that? Does it? That's what they sound like when they do it.
Cody, if you hold on. Now, a normal play, maybe not. If you're trying to draw somebody offside to get an extra to get a free 5 yards, I think that's like right on the money.
Yeah, that's what
You
that
want
was.
something like that.
Fake hard count for when I'm trying to get him to jump on a punt. We got D Ford's ass.
I love the fact too that you didn't undersell it. Like you were full on dedicated.
Mm-hmm.
I even did if you watch the video, I was like putting my hands under center.
No, were you? I didn't see that.
That way.
Jeez.
That way
Let's
you can go the
go.
whole way. Gotta earn it, man. Gotta be the rest of it.
So yeah, I'll let you guys know what happens when I'm up there and stuff. But someone said I should wear a GoPro, just walk around the concourse wearing it, just to see the looks and see how many people flip me off on the way.
It would actually be really funny.
That would be a funny social media video for
It
us.
would. If you just had like a pin camera so that they didn't know you had a camera. Oh man, the looks people would give you. We could get 1 million views on something.
One of those,
if it was just
undercover,
Alex
people?
wears this to a Canadian hockey game.
Someone said I should check in the Chicago airport. Maybe they'll have one there. But I want to just be Blackhawks gear. It won't be USA hockey gear.
I don't know.
I'll check. I mean, trust me. I got a slight layover. Maybe I'll try. Again, if anybody comes across or has a USA hockey clothing item, size large, I'm in.
Alex will
I
still
need
wear
to know
it.
by tonight.
Pretty soon, honestly. So hit him up on social media at Alex Gold. Let's talk before we get to Jack Kagleon, who hit a massive 460-foot home run, and I think should remind fans why you should go into the season highly optimistic about what you're going to get out of Jack Kagleon. MU got another huge win last night. We talked Kansas yesterday. K-State plays tonight. But MU, who had 3 ranked opponents in a row by the time it got around to the Tennessee game, won 2 of them. And certainly was close against Tennessee last night and let them back in the game multiple times. Even though they kept stretching that lead out to 6 or 7, it would get back down to 2 or 3, and they had to battle. They were the better team last night, and Barrett's continued emergence for this team has made them much more difficult to play in SEC play. And if the season ended today, they would no doubt, in my mind, be a tournament team. I also think they wouldn't be on the Dayton line today. I'm not saying with some losses they can't fall back to it. I think if the tournament started today based on their standing in the SEC, the 6th best in the SEC right now, I think they'd be like a 10 seed. I think they'd be safe and in the tournament and comfortable. I do think that they can lose their footing in the where they stand or if they have to go play in Dayton. But if they just hold court, win a game in the SEC tournament or win a couple games in the SEC tournament, if they beat Arkansas, they're way off that line. But they're safely in the tournament as of today.
I believe they're in the tournament as well, as long as they don't lose one or both to Michigan, Mississippi State, or Oklahoma. So they're in the tournament. I still think right now they would be flirting with having to play in Dayton. That's how bad the non-conference was. And so if they want to be firmly in the field of 68, not have to play on that Tuesday or Wednesday in Dayton, Ohio, then to me, you got to beat Oklahoma, Mississippi State, and maybe one SEC game. Just to make sure there's no question about being in the first 4. And I agree with you. If they beat Arkansas, then they're off the first 4 line altogether. So it's the combination of both. Like, if you were to slip up against Oklahoma or Mississippi State, then the Arkansas game might become a game you need.
To stay out of Dayton, it could be.
Yeah, but if you take care of business against 2 teams you should, you lose to Arkansas, you win the first game in the SEC tournament. Even if you lose, you're probably okay.
Because they're going to have one of the buys as it sits right now. They won't even play the first
Joe
game.
Lenardi's got them as a buy right now, yeah.
Yeah, so Lenardi has them as a buy.
Palm's got him in the
Jerry
first
Palm has
4,
first
right?
4. Yeah, playing in the first 4 as in the last 4 in. So they're clearly still in that fringe. Nobody,
they'd have him as a 10. If it was Lenardi, they'd be one of the 10s.
I guess what's weird is and I agree with you on all the Dayton stuff, but as it sits right now, I'm not even worried about Missouri getting in the tournament. I think they're too good to miss.
I would feel comfortable saying
I think their SEC schedule overcomes how bad their non-con is, and that they are going to be a difficult team to leave out.
Unless you got those bid steals like we talked about earlier.
I guess, but and some of this just depends on, like Gold said, it all takes care of itself. It all takes care of itself against these lower opponents in the SEC. Yeah. I'll just tell you right now they're the 6th in the SEC tournament. If they play the NCAA tournament the same way for the next 100 years, the 6th seed in the SEC is never missing the tournament. And is probably never playing as the 11th seed. In the play-in. Not the team who finished 6th in the SEC. I don't care if it's a down year for the conference or not. There's still a lot of teams in there and quality. And that Florida win is going to...
No, it's huge for them.
That one, and even though it was when Florida was playing bad, that Florida win is going to boost them across the board.
But that's why they're in the field right now, frankly.
If they're on the bubble,
if they
would have lost to Florida,
I think they'd be in the field, but they'd be like last 4 in.
But they're already that.
Yeah.
They're already that, at least according to Paul.
The Florida win will get them in.
Right, yeah.
Oh.
What was that?
Was that?
Right, yeah.
That was Mac's drop that everybody's telling us we should be playing all show long since they made fun of
sound
yours.
like anything.
What is that?
Right, yeah.
I don't know. When it said I kind of thought it was going to be like...
Right, yeah.
I thought it was going to sound like... When it said the way it said in our system, for those of you who can't see, and obviously can't, in our system, it's labeled something. So theirs is labeled Mac, with YEAAAH. I thought it was going to be the end of the CSI thing.
Damn right.
That guitar riff hits, and then it was going to be that.
Yeah.
What is this? There's a drop of me. I don't even remember saying this in their folder. I'm not having the bass just thump. I'm not going crazy.
They like pulling drops from our show.
Dusty texted me after you said that, by the way. I said, can you please cut that for us? I said, okay. Someone said it sounded like Pink. I thought it sounded like Coach O. Mac
it's a little bit of that. That's true. The Mac drop. Yeah, I didn't know what that was.
Right, yeah.
It doesn't sound
they
like
play
him at all.
Cody's drop of the cadence and the guys quite a bit.
That one probably got guys. It's too loud in my own ear.
I know it is.
We turn the volume down.
Today, Cody, you asked. Today, you had another.
My God, it's like 6 guys at the same time.
We all say stupid stuff out of context.
Has he been measured yet? Yeah. Anyway, so I think Mizzou's in a good spot to make the tourney, but you don't want to play in Dayton. So you better at least handle your business against Mississippi State and Oklahoma.
Someone said Missouri's done a great job earning that 11 seed so they can lose in the first round. We've seen 11 seeds make runs in the tournament before. So
they might lose, but
don't say this too fast.
Separate from just the tournament stuff, I actually think that this is one of the way they're playing right now. I think this is probably one of maybe the best team Dennis Cates has had. I know he's had a higher seeded team.
Oh,
Compared to last year?
Well,
I think it's
last year. Yeah.
definitely better than last year's team. I think he had one other team that was relatively decently seeded and had a chance to go to the Sweet 16, but lost to a low.
They were 6 seed last year.
They were 6 seed last year.
And they lost to Drake in the first round. Yeah.
I think it's better than last year's team. I understand they're having a worse year.
Yeah.
Some of this is the way Barrett's been playing lately and the way the team's coming together at the end and the way they're battling against what I think will be a majority of the tournament field, the type of teams they're facing. I just think this is a better team. It has some of the same players, some of the same guards, some of the same setup, right? It's not like a wholly different or completely different team. I just think they're playing better basketball. I like this team more.
I think that to that point for next year, like looking at next year, like they have a top 10 class in the country next year. Like them making the tournament and winning these games it is helping them, I think, maybe fully convince those guys, yeah, maybe Missouri is the place to go and not flip or anything like that. Because if those guys all commit who are currently committed verbally, then next year's team will be his most talented just off of the class that he's bringing in.
It's so tough for Missouri because if their program ever wants to take like a step forward, they have got to make one deep tournament run in their history.
Like deep is in like Sweet 16 or more?
They've never made a Final Four. So like that would be nice.
That is accurate. That is very true.
And I said it, not Alex, so you don't have to like just say like, all right, easy Jayhawk boy or whatever they would yell at him on the text line. That like Drew, they do like in order for
you want it to be Sweet 16 or it needs to be Elite 8?
I think Elite 8. I think Elite 8. I mean, K-State's made an Elite 8 from the guy they just fired. In the last 5 years, K-State's made an Elite 8. It is not an impossible ask. I understand the tournament's hard and it's hard to be consistent. It is not an impossible ask that in a 10-year program run, your team make Elite 8 if you're playing in the SEC, Big 12,
I understand. It's
ACC,
just difficult, man.
Or Big 10.
It's not fair to have that.
The tournament is such a crapshoot, let alone where you're seated. This is not.
And your draw and everything else,
So many breaks have to go your way. And that's what makes it, frankly, so impressive. Some of these schools that have been able to have sustained tournament appearances and sustained tournament success. And it's nuts what UConn was able to do in back-to-back Florida. That is so tough. And I think, of course, if you're K-State, if you're Missouri, heck, still, even if you're Kansas, I mean, you should have lofty goals. You should, they're different in some places than others. There's starting blocks that you want to get to. But I mean, look what happened with Kansas State with the Elite Eight appearance in year one for Jerome Tang. That should be the evidence that suggests that it is such a crapshoot. They make it to the Elite Eight in year one, and now Jerome Tang's fired.
Yeah.
If I would have told you right after they lost that Elite Eight game, if I would have told you guys in 2026, the middle of the season, Jerome Tang would get fired, you would have thought he did something terrible.
Patino on the back of a motorcycle.
Yeah, you would have thought not just lose games. You would have thought there would have been some serious problems for him. Criminally. If I would have told you 3 years ago he was getting fired in the middle of 2026.
Probably, but at the same time, they have not made a final. They have not made in a, when's the last time they made an Elite Eight?
Missouri?
They last made an Elite Eight in 2009. So it's been 17 years. In the last 10 years, 46 different basketball programs have made an Elite Eight. So it's not like an exclusive group.
K-State's made 3 in their last 3 coaches they've had or whatever. So
yeah, and look, I think if you're Missouri, you should be like, we can at least be K-State's program, right? No one says you have to be a blue blood and be Kansas or Duke or North Carolina.
Like Frank Barr made one with South Carolina.
Yeah, it's not
after being
at Kansas State.
They made a national title game.
True. Bruce Weber, of course,
45 different teams in the last decade have found a way. And I'm not saying that this is the team. I get it. They might be an 11 seed. They might be in the play-in stuff. I like this team better than I like last year's team. Fine. But that doesn't mean it has to be this year. I'm just talking about as we talk about program building.
I do.
You do have to do that sometime.
I think it's not unfair to want that, but it's unfair to expect it. I think South Carolina was a 10 seed when they made it to that Final Four. I think that if you get hot at the right time and everything somehow comes together, part of it's luck. There's legitimately luck as a part of that run. But I'm more so than any other sport.
I understand it, but that's the whole point. Is I'm giving you time. I think when you talk about mid-tier programs, Kansas State, Missouri, these ones who they have all the advantages we have NIL, we're in a power conference, so we just have more opportunity to do these things, right? We don't have to be SLU and we can't even lose in our conference tournament, or we might miss the tournament altogether. As in, if you're pretty much good in your thing, you have a chance. All I'm saying is that the bare minimum goal, I think, for any team in a Power 4 conference should be. We have 10 years. We should make the tournament bare minimum 3 times, maybe 4. And during that time, once a decade, we should find our way to an Elite 8. I don't think, or a Sweet 16. I don't think that's that crazy. That's a pretty low bar for, I give you a decade of luck, Drew. Because if you put yourself in the tournament 4 or 5 times,
Sweet
you can't
16,
win 3 games once.
I can maybe lean toward that side. Elite 8, I think, is too far to me. But a Sweet 16, sure.
Yeah.
Dennis Gates should be able to get to an Elite 8 with that sort of talent. Yeah.
Like, I don't think that, I understand your idea of like any given
individual season, sure.
Yeah, but like, I'm giving them 10 years. That's not, saying Missouri should make an Elite 8 every 10 years, not that crazy. They made one in 2002. They made one in 2009. So they made twice in a decade.
Want
there's been
deep tournament
17
runs.
years.
Yeah.
Sweet 16 is not a bad tournament run. I'm not here complaining about anyone.
Are you wanting a UMKC Sweet 16 run then, since they're not
I want UMKC to get to a tournament. I don't think that's crazy to ask either. If you're any college basketball team, you should be able to get to a tournament every decade. They've made 0, and however long Kansas City University's existed. I think we might go to the game on Saturday. Although I was trying to figure out if there's like a professor discount, and I couldn't find.
Just buy the cheap tickets and go. Come on now. You're trying to get
They got
free
4
tickets.
wins. I can't get a discount.
Come on.
I just said I wanted a discount. Tried to catch the Roos one time this year before, Turgeon's got them all turned around, heading to the tournament. You got to get ready for it. That's all. Someone said, how did Frank Martin do it with South Carolina? Man, I don't know.
It's crazy.
PJ Dozier is how he did it.
I don't even like. It's so crazy the guys who end up.
One of my best friends was a manager of that basketball team.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Was the manager of the.
He was one of the managers.
South Carolina
he was
finals
one of the managers
team?
on that run. Yeah, they beat Duke in the second round.
Again, like when you guys are talking about luck, it's like, yeah, no doubt. But Missouri should be able to in the SEC with all their advantages. They should be able to make. I just said bare minimum for any. Missouri should be in the tournament half the time every decade. They should be a tournament team 5 times out of 10 years. And all I'm saying is out of those 5, can you make a Sweet 16 once? Can you make an Elite 8 once? I don't like that's not, I don't know. That doesn't feel like for Kansas, it's way crazier. In a 10-year run, I think they should be in the tournament 10 times. I think they should make the Sweet 16 at least 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And they should probably win a championship, not just get anywhere, once. Like I don't know, their expectation is different. They are in the tournament every year. They haven't missed one except for the one that got vacated. So their streak is technically done. It's so stupid to pretend like a team didn't. It's like pretending like Calipari didn't go to the Final Four of those years.
Yeah, Louisville still has the T-shirts, even though the banner got taken down. We still saw. I still, with my own eyes, saw Louisville playing in a Final Four.
Yeah, they did make them take the banner down though. Someone from the 75 said, Cody said when CDOT said, "Be all you can be," you should have said, "Don't take life advice from someone who got rejected on the Kiss Cam." Now they're just taking shots, or just a Missouri fan. Be all you can be, That was Carrington's advice to my students at UMKC yesterday. I brought in a class of young potential journalists, people who might want to get in the field, not everybody, but people who might want to get into the industry. And the only piece of advice he had for him is the slogan from the Army from my childhood, which I guess I was told has come back. Have you guys been seeing Be All You Can Be commercials?
I have not.
Do you remember that slogan when we were kids?
No.
True. Yeah, there's just
that gives off vibes.
I
I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Robots, like the animated movie, but it's the you can shine no matter what you're made of. That falls along the same lines as what Carrington just said.
Honestly, I would have preferred he drop a movie line that maybe they didn't get because they're all 22. Like if he said life is like a box of chocolates and nobody got it. It'd have been funnier to me.
You're saying put in some more effort than what he did?
Had he done that?
Yeah, the Shawshank Redemption quotes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And they were just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Get busy living or get busy dying.
And he said that and everyone's staring at him like that was something profound he had made up on his own. That would have been way funnier.
Unbelievable.
Someone is asking, who's the girl Gold is going to Montreal for? Nope. People ask the same thing about the Bahamas. I went to the Bahamas by myself. It was a great trip. This one is a little more unique. So full disclosure, I guess. So my mom happens to have a work meeting there. Okay. And so they're going to be there doing a bunch of stuff. There's also some cool events they get to do because of what they're there for. So I'll go to some of the cool events, but I was able to basically get an extra free hotel room. So I'm doing my own thing. There's a few things that I'll do with their organization stuff that they're doing. But other than that,
just free and going on a trip.
So I got a list of there's a couple cool bars I wrote down. Some of you texted in some ideas on a few restaurants, so I appreciate that. And then we've